What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hangout spot where you already know it's Real Talk Boxing Talk live from my man cave. It's your boy Johnny, and I am your host for another edition of the Hangout Spot Live. This time, the Tuesday night edition.
Let's get ready to rumble! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
And I just want to thank everybody for rocking out tonight. More importantly, man, we had 3 great shows last week, man. We did a Boxing Voice edition on Sunday night where we had Tip Bayless and Lobo in the building. They are fighting in the main event headliner amateur tournament. Border Wars 16 is going down August 2nd in Wisconsin. That was a great show. And then we also had Bernie the Boxer, who is working with Terrence Bud Crawford in his camp. And that was a great interview. We talked in detail about that fight, as well as some of the other fighters in the Bomac Brian McIntyre stable. And then Thursday, we had a call-in show, man. You know how we doing it up with these call-in shows. But if you have not had a chance to see any of those episodes, make sure you go to the Hangout spot on YouTube and check them out. Today, we have another spectacular episode. We got my man, newly crowned WBA Bantamweight champion in the building. Antonio Kingdom Vargas will be here. Great dude. If you guys remember, I actually interviewed him about a couple of weeks before his last fight in December. It was for the WBA interim title. Since then, he's been elevated. He's family. He's down with Box Lab Promotions. You guys know that they are family as well. So I knew I had to get him right back in here to talk about being elevated to champion, but more importantly, a very, very, very bright future in the sport. We'll have him on in just a couple of minutes. But you guys know the deal, man. There's ground rules here at the Hangout spot, man. If you are watching this live on YouTube, make sure you smash that like button, man. We have to get this channel out into the algorithm of other boxing fans so they know that we rock out weeknights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're also doing weekend shows. We're also doing post-fight shows. We're doing call-in shows. This is where it's going down in the Hangout spot. So make sure you tell a friend and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, man. There are power in numbers. We're trying to turn this train into a locomotive. In order for us to do that, we're going to need some more passengers. If you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you give us a like. More importantly, come on over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Last but not least, you guys know the deal. I want the chat to cook. But if you want a question asked, again, I'm anticipating, a lot of chatter, so to speak, and it's hard for me to sift through all the chats to see which one are questions. So if you want to make sure that you ask a question to the champion, the best way to do that, because it comes out as a star message, is to super chat it. It also provides your boy with a donation. If you want to make a donation, super chat, super stickers, and Cash App, which is scrolling down below, is the best way to do that. But without further ado, like I said, man, just newly elevated to champion. He has a record of 19-1 with 11 knockouts. He's coming off a big win in December. We'll talk about that in a second. But without further ado, man, I want to bring family to the Hangout spot, man. My man, Antonio Kingdom Vargas. What's going on, my brother? Welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Thank you, man. It's good to be back.
No, man, listen, like I said during my intro, man, your family, bro. Box Lab Promotions, shout out to Amari Piedra, shout out to Eric Enrique. They always treat me with love. And I've actually worked a couple of your fights, including the last one. We got a chance to do an excellent interview about 2 weeks before that last one in December. And you went out there and you handled your business against a tough guy, undefeated guy, Winston Guerrero, in an action-packed fight, which we'll get into in a second. But without further ado, man, I just want to congratulate you, man. You are the new WBA Bantamweight champion.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. It's definitely something new in my career, and this is just one of many to come.
Absolutely, man. So how does it feel? And first and foremost, what was that like? How did you find out about it? And what was the first thing you did after you found out you had been elevated to champion?
I actually found out on a social media post, so it didn't really hit me. I think it was like 2 days later after I seen it on the Facebook. Then Eric had called me. He's like, "Hey, man, like you're officially a world champion now." So I'm like, "Wow, okay." It's I was happy, man. I think my coach was a little more excited, but as a fighter, I wanted to beat the guy, take his belt. So it kind of little mixed emotions about how it happened, but I was supposed to fight for the world title, man, last year in February. So it's it was gonna happen sooner or later. So I guess I got one belt now and just 3 more to go.
Speaking of Eric is in the building. Box Lab Promotions. Let's go. Appreciate you rocking out with us, my brother. I got your boy in here, Antonio Kingdom Vargas, newly elevated WBA bantamweight champion. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that you say that. I mean, most fighters are gonna that are ultra competitive like yourself are gonna say that they wanted to win the title instead of getting a phone call to say they were elevated. But this is the business of boxing at the end of the day. And you were scheduled to go over there. I believe the champion was Susumi, right? Susumi was the champion at the time. Whatever happened with that? Like what happened with him? Why did he end up vacating? Did he get hurt or something like that? I think he got hurt.
He got cut his last fight, so he's gonna be out probably for like 8 months. So the rule is if you can't defend it within 6 months, you gotta vacate it. So he's gonna be out for some time. A pretty
And
big cut, right eye, so pretty bad.
and that fight was scheduled to take place, and you were going to go to Japan to try to get that title.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I got you. But either way, my brother, you are a champion. Shout out to you. You put yourself in that position based on your last performance. So, like I was telling the audience earlier, this was in December. I believe it was the main event during the WBA convention. So there was a lot of people in the building. I was there. There were a lot of stars in the building, and you shined bright, man, that evening, man. And it was a great fight. I knew it was going to be a great fight going in because Winston Guerrero was undefeated at the time from Nicaragua, and a tough guy. A big puncher, and you dropped him in the first round, and then he came back and dropped you in the second round. That's the type of fight that we were in for, early on. But it's not the first time you faced adversity. You got up, you shook off the cobwebs, and then you handled your business. You cooked for the rest of that fight. You ended up stopping him in the 10th round. So talk to me a little bit about that fight, man. Was it tougher than you anticipated? And what were your thoughts after that fight?
Yeah, I knew the guy was gonna be, pretty tough, man. He's like I said, especially fighting with undefeated fighters. They want to keep that undefeated record. So anytime you get in there with somebody like that, man, it's gonna be a war. So my plan was, man, I wanted to neutralize him from the very start. I figured the guy throws a lot of punches. He likes to come forward. So my goal was to get him on his back foot and to break him down. So that's why I kind of came out a little aggressive that first round. And I didn't expect to drop him. Just got hit with a shot. I caught him in the exchange. And, I felt like I dictated the pace of the first round. I was trying to keep that same pace throughout the whole fight. And, second round comes. Same thing, man. Just he's throwing his punches. I thought he was done throwing. I timed it wrong, man, and I was trying to counter him with the left hook, and I opened myself up when he was at the end of throwing his last shot and just caught me clean in the chin, man, and put me down. So it was kind of I didn't expect that to happen. I figured I was gonna stop the dude, man. I figured it was gonna be like within the early couple rounds, just hitting him with a clean body shot or something he didn't see coming, or breaking them down in the later rounds, which I was able to do.
So that's interesting, like I said, because after that first round, we're all thinking in the crowd, I was there, that it was probably going to be an early night, and then that happened. So I guess you answered that question, but I'll ask it again one more time. So did you get a little overconfident, thinking, okay, I can hurt him, let me step on the gas and try to get him out of there early?
I would say it was an overconfident thing. It was part of the game plan. Like I said, he has a lot of openings and stuff like that. When he's throwing his combinations. My thing is, I just got his timing wrong, man. I think the combination he hit me with, I think it was like a 6 or 7 piece combination. So, at the fifth punch, I thought he was done throwing. I'm like, okay, let me come back, answer, because I wanted to stay really aggressive within the fight, just to dictate the pace and keep him on his back foot. So I just timed it wrong, man. I threw a punch the wrong time, opened myself up, and he just caught me clean, man. And it's definitely experience, man. It's because man, this knockdown was worse than my last fight when I got dropped in the first round. That fight, I got overconfident. It was an easy round. I'm going back to my corner. I'm like, hey, let me drop my hand. I didn't think I was in range. The guy, overhand, just jumped in with it, man. Caught me, and I got up, and I was good. My legs felt, strong. But this last fight right here, man, when he hit me, I don't know what I got hit with. I thought I got hit with a hook, and I just remember getting up, man. I remember calling on the name of Jesus, man, to help me, man, because I remember it was like a fear that hit me, because when I got up, I didn't have no legs. My legs were very shaky, and it was like this grip of fear that hit me. I'm like, oh man, like I'm not good. And I just remember seeing the ref. He did the count. I just remember seeing the guy come at me. I remember holding him, and from there I blacked out. I went blank. The last 30 seconds of that fight, that was not me fighting. It's to be honest, I went blank for about a minute and a half. I don't even remember walking to my corner.
Wow.
I remember getting off the stool and my coach saying, "Hey man, it's even now. Make sure you go out there and start winning these rounds. Make sure you keep your hand up." So it's definitely an experience I'll never forget. Just the fear, just calling on the name of Jesus to help me. And like I said, you see the last 30 seconds of that round, like that was not me fighting. I don't remember none of that. So it was definitely something different, supernatural. The best way I can explain it.
Wow, that's a true, honest answer, man. That's from a fighter, obviously, that gets gets hit with a big shot. I mean, it happens. This is boxing. This is you guys were fighting for an interim title. He's a undefeated guy with power. But you brought up that last fight where you said you got overconfident. So was that kind of a blessing in disguise that this happened after that? Because it's almost like, I guess, as a fighter, and you explain it to me, if I'm wrong, you faced that adversity. So it wasn't the first time you faced this. So was that, something else that also helped you? Like, I've done this before. I've gotten hit early and I've gotten up and I've cooked, the dude that I was fighting. So was that going through your mind, at the end of that round?
No, like I said, I don't remember the round. I don't remember nothing of that round. Like I said,
When did you start feeling like you were getting it back again? Was it the next round? Was it the round after that?
I remember when I got up off the stool. I remember that. I remember the third round. I remember that one pretty clearly. It wasn't until the fourth round where I felt my body getting stronger and stronger and stronger as the rounds went. I could feel like myself getting stronger. One thing I learned too, man, once I started jabbing more at him, I was able to neutralize his combinations and the jab and the little feint to make him, throw, stop him with the jab. And like after that fourth round, once I started jabbing, man, that it made the fight a whole lot easier. So that was kind of, like I said, my game plan was kind of just put pressure, pushing back, and I was able to do that first round. Second round, I was trying to do the same thing. His punching output kind of caught me off guard, opened up. After the third round, I'm like, okay, man, this is, go back to the game plan. And the fourth round, I'm like, hey, man, this is a lot easier. Let me just keep my jab. And, I was just trying to break him down little by little. And later rounds, I believe in the sixth round, once I started working his body, I could kind of see him start to break down. And after that sixth round, I knew this is not going the distance. And, when I called him, man, I was just waiting for him to open up. And I was able to, 10th round, he threw a lazy jab, caught him, right over the top, counter right hand. And after that, ref stopped it then and stepped the fight. So.
No, listen, great performance. I was going to ask you that. You answered my question. Like, when did you feel that you had that you can possibly stop him? And you said it was in the sixth round. Because you're right. You did start using the jab. You just got better. After that whole thing happened, and you shook off the cobwebs, and it's like it's like almost like you got. You know what? Now it's game time.
Yeah.
That's the way I was looking at it from watching it from the seats. But man, it was a great performance. I mean, you lit up the crowd. Like, again, there was a lot of people in the building. Your family was there to represent. How was that feeling when you finally got that interim title?
It was good, man. One step closer to getting, the world title. Like I said, I was scheduled to fight the guy, the Japanese champion, after this fight in July. And I wasn't expecting for him to, get cut and for him to be out that long. So, like I said, the goal was always to get, the WBA championship belt, and I got it now. And, now I just got to go over there and defend it. So that's what I'm going to be looking to do in July.
Before we talk about that, you were also supposed to fight Inoue's brother, before Guerrero, right? What went down with that?
I was supposed to fight him in February. But basically, we found out they didn't want to fight. They thought it was a bad matchup for Tsukuma. That's his first name. and they gave my promoter like hey, our next fight we're gonna fight you guys. So they gave him, it was like a word to mouth agreement. They see him at one of the fights, and they're like, hey, we're gonna fight you next. You're mandatory. So we're gonna give you the shot now. And my promoter, Eric and Amar, like, okay, we thank you. And I think it was like a month later, man, they've seen a poster and they had Takuma fighting somebody else. So my promoters, they're both surprised. They're like, wow, man, these people did the opposite of what they said. And that's when they're like, okay, just, beat this guy, Jonathan. After that, they're mandatory to fight. They don't want to fight. So they're like, we got to fight this guy, Winston, and we're going to make it for interim. And if they still don't want to fight, they're going to strip him of the belt. So that's what I was saying earlier. I was supposed to be a champion, a world champion February of last year, but it just kept running, man. And it made it really hard for, Box Life Promotions to get the fight going. And, so I got the belt now. So it's like, they can't run no more.
Everything happens for a reason, champ. And obviously this was the path that was laid out. I'm here with Antonio Vargas, who is the WBA bantamweight champion. He's in the building. But you mentioned now your first title defense. That's going to be you said in Japan in July. Who are you fighting against?
The guy that he was the guy because I forget how to say his name, man. It's very what would you say his name was? Tasuka.
Tsumi.
So Tsumi, I was supposed to fight Tsumi, but his last fight he got a draw against this other guy. I don't know his first name, but I know his last name is Higa. So basically, I'm gonna fight the guy that he got a draw with his last fight. I'm gonna fight him as a defending champion, defending my WBA sometime in July. I don't got the exact date, but it should be the end of July when I fight.
His name is Diego Higa.
Diego Higa, yeah, that's the guy right there.
Okay, so currently he's ranked number 3 in the WBA. So okay, all right, and what can you tell us about him as an opponent? Studying him a little bit.
He just likes to throw big shots. He's a power puncher. He just looks to throw big overhands. Hooks. He's not like this last guy. He don't throw combinations. The most I've seen him throw is maybe like a 1, 2, 3, the most, but it's usually like a right hand, left foot, right hand, stiff jab, flat footed, likes to throw everything with bad intentions. He's a little shorter than me as well. So, I'm just saying, you got different, style. So, I said, man, I'm just looking to place my jab, man. The jab made my last fight a lot easier. So I definitely want to establish my jab early, this next coming fight, and just get his rhythm. And once I start getting his rhythm, adapt from there, and just see the openings, take advantage of them, and kind of just go from there.
And this might be a question for Eric in Box Lab, but why the decision to go to Japan and defend and not get him to come here?
We found out last minute, so all the talks were to fight the champion, and they told us probably like, I don't know, maybe like 2-3 weeks ago. They're like, okay, this guy's injured. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. They told us, they're like, okay, this guy's injured. You're scheduled to fight him, but we're not gonna fight him now because he has to go to surgery. But to be honest, man, I think they're doing that on purpose. They knew that guy wasn't gonna be able to fight me, and they kind of just placed this guy in last minute, and I guess to try to just keep the the fights over there in Japan. Obviously, it makes it easier for them as a promoter. You want to make it easier for your fighter, so I got to go over there and defend it over there, which it don't really make no sense. But it was kind of like a last minute thing they told us, and I'm like, I got to do what I got to do. So I got to go over there, beat the guy, defend it, and just bring the belt back over here. So once I beat this guy and have it over here, then they'll feel more like, I'm a world champion.
Okay, that makes sense. And it also, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, it's a good thing for you, right, to get that international exposure as well. To try to get some of that fan base as well. But it's a long trip, man. It's a long trip. Have you ever been to Japan? And what are you doing to prepare yourself to for a trip like that? Different culture, the food is different. Obviously a big time difference. So is any of that concerning to you? And what are you planning on doing to prepare yourself for that?
Yeah, I believe, Box Up Promotions, they have plans for me to go to Vegas to do some training camp out there. It's a little higher altitude over there. And from there, I'll be out there for almost a month. They're gonna have this guy Linares, the three-time ex-world champion. He's gonna be helping me for my training camp. And he speaks Japanese. He has a brother out there that has a boxing gym, and he knows the culture really good over there. So they're gonna be adding him to my training camp to help me prepare. And from there we just go to Japan the last 2 weeks, kind of acclimate to the time, just make the weight, and just get the fight on.
That's a great addition, man, to the camp. Jorge Linares, again, he's no stranger, to fighting out there, and that's awesome. That's really good to hear. Obviously, what he's accomplished, in the sport as well. I think it's going to be. Is this the first time you ever work? So this will be the first time you ever work with him, because I know he works with other fighters. I saw him work with Pitufo Diaz not that long ago. Is this the first time for you?
Yeah, it's the first time. So I'm excited, man, because I know the guy. Like I said, he has a lot of experience, three-time world champion. So he's from over there, from Japan too. So I look forward to what I could learn from him, and just pick up some new tools, and just it's gonna be. I know it's gonna be a good experience.
Dope, dope. I'm actually going to ask Brian Norman Jr., the WBO welterweight champion, the same question. I'm going to see him later on in the weekend, because he's going to Japan as well to defend his title June 19th.
Wow.
Against Jin Sasaki, and I believe that's the first time he went out there. And he's going the same thing as you. I think he's going a couple of weeks earlier, to get acclimated to the time change and so forth. I mean, it's a it's a big move. It's a big move, and I think it's again, you go out there, do what you need to do, come back. I mean, it adds, gives you that international exposure as well. So that's never a bad thing. But it's funny because mostly all the top guys in your weight class are from from Asia, from Japan and so forth, right? Isn't that kind of weird?
Yeah, nah, man, because that guy, and the monster, he was able to get off 4 belts at 118.
Yep.
Once he moved up, he vacated, and made it easier for Mr. Hans, the promoter, to just scatter the belts and keep him in Japan. So that's why it's been a little harder for me to get the belt, man, because he's been having Japanese fighters fight against other Japanese fighters. So whether they win or lose, belts still stay in Japan. So I understand, as a promoter, you do what's best for your fighters, for your team and stuff like that. But they said they've been giving my team, Box Life Promotions, a real hard time because of that, not wanting to fight. So I'm hoping, man. Like I said, man, I was telling Eric and Omar, hey, man, if I could fight for these belts back to back and just take them one by one, I'm like, I want to do that. So it all depends on what they say and how things go. So
Interesting, because it brings me to my next question. How important is it for you to unify in that division and possibly go undisputed?
that's my main goal. That's I believe I believe I could do it. I'm hoping I could do it within the next 2 years. So I got one belt. I defend it here in July. We come back, go to the drawing board. See what we got next. But like I said, I told him, hey, man, if y'all let me fight, WBO next, WBC, IBF next, whatever they want to do, I'm here, man, to fight for the belts back to back if I have to, and just get them as quick as possible, because I want to become undisputed at 118. So that's my main goal right now.
No, I know that you're focused on that, but what if a big fight presents itself at Super Bantam? Is that something that you would consider? Let's say an inner fight.
A guy like that, that's a pound for pound right there, man. I definitely want to, when I step in the ring with a guy like that, I want to make sure I'm ready. And I think another, like 2 years, that would be a good fight for me. But I gotta, I don't see myself fighting a guy like that until after I prove myself and get all the belts at 118, man. Because like I said, he's one of the best fighters right now. And I keep it real, man. I never want to lie to myself, and I need more time to prepare. I think this is what my third. Well, really, this is my second 12-rounder, man. Because my first 12-rounder, when I fought Jonathan, I trained for a 10. I didn't even train for 12, and they told me it was 12 last minute. So my last fight was actually my first preparation for a 12-round fight, and then this will basically be my second, preparation for another 12-round fight. So like I said, man, it's three guys that are champions in my weight class, and I know once I beat them, and probably get an opponent at 122, and then if the fight comes and if they offer me that fight after that, I'll definitely take it.
I love your honesty, man. I appreciate the honest answer. Again, I am here with Antonio Kingdom Vargas, who's WBA bantamweight champion. If you have not hit that like button, make sure you do that. Subscribe to the channel, man. Tell a friend, and keep the chat cooking. I got a couple of questions from the chat here. The first one is from my guy Toledo Trees from TBV. I think you answered this question already. Obviously, how did you get the belt from my fighter Seiya Sasumi, and will you fight him in the future? So you already said obviously he got hurt in his last fight. He got cut really bad, wasn't able to make that fight. So he got stripped, and Antonio is now the new champion. But will you consider fighting him in the future? I guess you can answer that.
No, definitely, man. That fight after I beat that guy, I'll be more than happy to to fight the guy too, man. Because I was initially looking to fight him, and to be honest, man, I think he was an easier style matchup for me than this guy I'm fighting now. Because the champion, man, he just opens his hands, man. He just lets his hands too many openings, and even with that guy, like I don't see this fight, with that fight going to distance, So definitely a fight, I would like to take. He was the champion. So I'll at least give him that respect. Hey, man, I'll fight you, man. I know you couldn't defend your belt like you wanted to, but I'll give him that.
Yeah, I got a question from James Valdez. Actually, this was one of my questions I was going to ask you a little bit later on. What's the backstory to the nickname Kingdom?
Man, I fight for the kingdom of Christ, man. That's what I do it for. Like at first, I wanted to do it to build a legacy for me, to show people how great I am. But the older I get, man, I just realized, man, life is not about me. It's about Jesus, making him king of my life. He's my king. I'm part of his kingdom. And with the sport of boxing, I just want to glorify by Christ and expand in his kingdom, not mine. So one of my favorite verses in the Bible says, "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness." And it says, "Everything else will be added upon you." So the name is just, like I said, what I do it for, to remind myself, hey, I don't do it for me. I do it for Christ. It's a bigger purpose. And like I said, I'm not worthy of I'm not worthy of glory. Only he is. And every victory I get, I'm gonna give the glory back to Jesus, which it belongs to, and just I do it for him, man. So he saved me, he rescued me, and it was God found me in boxing, man. I wasn't looking for God; He came to me. So like I owe my life to Him. So I just, like I said, everything I do it, man. Everything I do it for is for Him and His kingdom.
Great answer, man. Amen. Amen, my brother. Amen. Next question is from my boy Chad from Canada, man. The last Bantam lineal champ was Inoue. It was previously vacant and triggered by Dornier and Naoya. Do you have aspirations of being a lineal champion?
Lineal champion. What exactly is a lineal champion? What's that?
It's basically the guy who beat the guy in the division. So it's that's the best way to be able to describe it.
Champion. Yeah, man. Like I said, man, I want to fight anybody, man. The good names. That's my goal. I don't want to run from nobody. Whoever they put in front of me, I want to be able to, prepare and just conquer. So I guess, yeah, you could say yeah for that question.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Eric said they scared. They are scared to fight Antonio Vargas. I guess that was because we were talking about the whole thing going to Japan. And I believe he said we are not worried about fighting in their backyard. That's how the deal was done. Nah, I hear that. It's just a question that I wanted to ask. We also got professional fighter, man, Kamari King Cam Walker in the building. They like family, man. What's good, fam? Congratulations to you. He said he's 5-0 with 5 knockouts, man. The future's extremely bright for my man Kamari King Cam Walker. But yeah, appreciate you watching, champ, and rocking out with us. But yeah, like Eric said, but which kind of leads into a little bit of segue, because I want to talk about this relationship with Box Lab Promotions. How did that whole thing come about? With you signing from Box Lab, did you have other options?
Yeah, it was actually one of my friends, Nelson, man. He put a good word in for me, man, and he knew Eric and Amari well. And at that time, man, I think I had taken almost like 2 years off of boxing, and I wanted to start boxing again, and we were reaching out to a lot of different promoters and stuff like that. And Eric and Amari, man, I don't know. I just remember like when I met them, I didn't even know them, man, but I just remember in the room when we were doing the meeting, it felt different, man. It just felt like they're family. I don't know how to explain it, but it felt like I know them like for a long time, and like you said, they're really close. And it was like this peace that I felt, and I'm like, wow, like this is, I believe this is who I got to sign with. And like I said, man, they gave me the opportunity. They signed me, they built me up, and they prepared me in the rankings, with all these fights, and they put me in a position where I'm a world champion now. So I really thank Eric and Omar for helping me, because if it wasn't for them, I would not be where I'm at. If it wasn't for their help.
Now, the reason why I ask is because I think it's a perfect fit, man. They're great people. Again, I mean, I can't say enough about Eric, man, for what he's done for me and what he continues to do for me, giving me opportunities to be a part of the Box Lab promotion family. So I just want to say thank you. And I thought that was a good choice. And he also said we are also Christians and believers, you
Yeah,
know. So and I think he mentioned up here that it kind of happened organically, and you rewarded them because you became their first champion. You're the first Box Lab champion, correct?
yeah, man. It's funny too, man, because me and Eric, we talk about it from time to time. They're like, man, like, because at first they knew, like, signing 118 pounder, like, it's a lot harder to get fights, in my weight class. Just, it's not too many guys. And they used to tell me, like, man, people would always tell him, hey, man, I don't think you should sign a kid. You're gonna waste money. It's gonna be a gamble. And we laugh about it now because Eric always tells us, like, man, bro, like, you're the easiest guy we deal with. We never have issues with you. You always make weight. You fight anybody who's in front. And he's like, you're our first world champion. So it kind of it worked out really good, man, for the both of us. And I believe this is just the beginning, man. I believe there's a lot more greater things as a company, as a team, we have to prove and to accomplish as a team together. So, like I said, the best part, like I said, we all have the same goal in mind. We're all believers in Christ. We all want to, support our families, feed our families, and glorify Christ. So I think that's why I felt what I felt, man. Like, just I remember, like, in the room, I've never had that feeling, man, with anybody. And they just felt like family. It felt peace, and I believe because the presence of God was there, and that's what God already had this in store. And like I said, this is this beginning, man. So I look forward to what else we have to accomplish as a team.
I just want to give you a shout out for that. Phenomenal, phenomenal answer, man. And nothing but the best, for you and obviously Box Lab Promotions going forward. I'm here with Antonio Kingdom Vargas, WBA Bantamweight champion. He's in the building. Make sure y'all show him some love, man. Keep the chat moving. Keep the chat moving. But I know I've asked you this before, but for my viewers, your story is very, very unique on how you became a fighter. So why don't you tell my viewers what inspired you to become a fighter?
It was actually my father. He's the one that put me in boxing. I would have never thought, but long story short, I got in trouble one day. I remember my principal, my teacher had a meeting with my father, and they're like, "Hey, man, your kid, he's out of control. We advise that you put him on this medication. He has ADHD. We think this will help. Keep more focused, able to sit down and learn." And my dad was like, "All right, we'll give him the pills." And he put me in the boxing gym the next week. And then a couple weeks later, they're like, "Wow, we told you the medication would be a good thing for him. He's able to sit down. He's calm now." And my father was like, "Nah, man, I just put him in boxing. He's a kid. He has natural energy. You got to find a way to burn it." And that was the first step in in me, I guess, going down that boxing route. It all started just because I was a troublemaker, couldn't sit down right, and had too much energy. And you know, 20 years later, man, I'm here now, world champion. So it's I would have never thought, man. I just did it just to stay out of trouble. And as the years went by, man, I didn't know I was competitive, man. I didn't like to lose. I was always to myself, man. So boxing was like a way out for me to express myself, and just getting stronger over the years, learning and growing. And I don't know, man. It's just a good feeling, man. It's just to have your body clean and train. And I don't know, man. I think everybody should at least have a level of fitness, man. Because like I said, just feeling better, just looking better, just it all goes hand in hand with life, man. And just like I said, man, God, found me in boxing, and it changed my life for the better. So I'll always be, forever thankful just for being a boxer, and just the impact that it's had on my life and what it's doing for everybody around me. So it's definitely, that's the story right there.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I You don't look like a troublemaker. That's number one. When you said I was a troublemaker, that I find that very hard to believe. But if you telling me that, I'll believe you.
Yeah, no, man. It wasn't until I was 16, man. When I got baptized and I gave my life to Christ, like officially, that's when I started, studying my Bible. I'm like, man, let me honor God, man, because I can't be out here running, down these streets and causing trouble and proclaiming to know Christ and but 16, like 9 through 16, man, I was a really bad kid, man. And like I said, if God wouldn't have revealed Himself to me, man, I'd probably be in jail right now. Like I said, my father was a gangbanger, man. He was a Crip, leader in Houston, Texas, where we're from. And I remember I wanted to be like my father. I just seen the respect, the power that he had, and that was the main reason why we moved from Houston to Florida, because he kind of seen, hey, man, if I don't get him out of this environment, and there's a lot of gangs over there, he's like, if I don't get my son out of this environment, he's gonna be like me. And my dad's like, I don't want him to be like me, in and out of jail, selling drugs and gang banging. He's like, I can't let my son go out like this. So we moved to Florida, got a new trainer. And then from there, man, like so it's like all glory to God, man. I would not be here if He didn't have a plan for my life.
That's an amazing story, man. And I just want to thank you for sharing that with me, man, and sharing it with our viewers. Very, very inspiring, man. And then that's one of the things that I've, if someone would have asked me, to describe you in 3 words, one of those words for me would be inspiring. From the conversations that we've had, um, you're a great guy. You have a beautiful family. So I just want to congratulate you. Beautiful family. Shout out to the wife Melody who helped me facilitate our first interview together, and I got a chance to meet her in your last fight. And let me tell you something. He was one of the loudest people in the crowd when you were fighting, man. Throw that left hook. Hit him to the body. Hit him to the body. She's got to be your biggest fan, man. I mean, and she also is a fighter as well, right?
Yeah, no, she's my biggest supporter, man. And like I said, she was a boxer. She grew up. I think she started like around 8 years old. Boxed her whole life. That's how we met, through boxing. And she understands the sport. She understands what it is to help me as a fighter, as her husband, man. And like I said, man, she's my biggest critic, man. After every fight, she's like, "Hey, man, you didn't do this right. Get it together. Make sure. I don't want to see you do that again." And she helps me with everything, man. If it wasn't for her, man, like I said, she makes my life a lot easier and better. And like I said, we got a beautiful family. And like I said, I just thank God for my wife, man. It's something special that I wish everybody could, just experience in life.
No, amazing. Like I said, I got a chance to meet her. Your beautiful children. Her family, your family. They were all there for you. That night, and you were gracious enough after your win to come out and shake hands, take pictures. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, man. So I just want to tell you that I appreciate you, champ.
No,
I
thank you.
appreciate for you for always showing me love and being the person that you are. And I'm always going to be a fan. I'm always going to be in your corner. But does she help you break down film? Of your opponents? Does she break down your film? Like, do you guys do that type of stuff together? Being that obviously she was a fighter as well.
Yeah, like her input, the different styles, because, she'll study me. Hey, this is what you've been doing good. This is what you're doing bad. And she'll look at the opponents and be like, hey, this is something you got to watch out for. So we definitely talk a lot about that, and just kind of, bring awareness. Hey, make sure you're doing this right. Make sure you're fixing this habit. And she definitely sharpens me a lot.
Amazing. Amazing. I just wanted to congratulate you on that. But your dad, you say your dad is from Puerto Rico, but your mom is from Mexico.
My mom, she's Mexican American, so she was born in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Her mom, she's from Mexico, so her roots are, from Mexico, but she's Mexican American. I'm a little bit more, Mexican American. My dad, he's straight from the island, from Bayamon.
Ah,
So
Bayamon. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, there was fighters from out there. I think Wilfredo Gomez, Hector Camacho.
yeah.
Hector Camacho was from Bayamon, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, a lot of great fighters from the island. How proud are you to be able to represent not just Puerto Rico, but basically Mexico and all of Hispanics, right?
It's an honor, man. Like I said, just the Hispanic culture, man. Like I don't know, me personally, man. It's like I think we got the greatest culture, man. We're the most diverse people out of all the world, man. We got black people, white people, Indians, everybody, man, just so diverse. We all come in all different shapes and colors, and it's an honor, man, just to be able to represent, just the Latin culture, Hispanic culture. So I take it with great joy and pride, and I just look at it, hey, man, bigger audience, bigger fan base, and my style, man. I like to come forward, I like to fight, and I guess I get it from that that the Hispanic culture side of me.
Yep. Yep. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of Puerto Rican fighters, who are your top three Puerto Rican fighters of all time?
Oh man, I like Trinidad. That's one of my favorite fighters right there. Puerto Rican fighters. Him. I like Cotto, man. Cotto was, I watched him growing up as a kid, and like you said, this guy Hector Camacho, man. That guy, he was, in his prime, man. He was definitely something special.
Dope. What about to represent your Mexican heritage? What about your top three Mexican fighters of all time?
I like this guy Juan Marquez, man. I like him. At first, I didn't really, but like the older I got, I'm like, man, this guy, he knows how to, set shots up right. He's really technical. He knows how to, just set up shots, man, that I kind of learned later in life when I became a pro. Because at first, I'm like, I don't really like his style, but like being a pro, I'm like, wow, this guy right here, man, I learned a lot from him. So that'd probably be, the first one. Growing up, this guy Canelo, man, he's he's something special too, man. Just going up all these weight classes and being undisputed. Fighting guys like Triple G, man. Some of these, even going up to 175 to fight, Bevo and chasing greatness, man. That's probably my second pick. Third pick, um, I don't know, man. I don't know who's my third pick. Probably have to come back to that one, man. But those are the two main fighters that I seen growing up that I'm familiar with. Is that I learned from would be those two fighters on the Mexican side.
Incredible. No, amazing. What about some of the fighters that you've admired in the smaller weight classes? Because the smaller weight classes is unique to me
Mm-hmm.
because I get upset because it's almost like only the hardcores really pay attention to the smaller weight classes. I got a friend of mine. He's the boxing maniac. I've had him on here on the panel before. And there's a perfect thing he calls them. He calls them hardcore casuals. If you don't pay attention to the smaller weight classes, you're a hardcore casual because there's some fighters down there. But again, does it bother? Do you think it's unfair that fight fans don't really show the same amount of love to the lower weight classes that they do to the welterweights, to the lightweights, to the heavyweights?
Yeah, I think people just, people like to see knockouts. Usually in the heavyweight classes, you got more knockouts and stuff. It's just like now, man, that the lower weights are becoming, popular. And like I said, one of the big guys to do that is, the monster. Guys like Mito Donaire, you know, guys like, one of my favorite, guys is this guy Rigondeaux, man. He's
Mm.
one of my favorite fighters, because I seen him growing up, man, to, being an Olympian and stuff like that. So I really look seeing how they all do good stuff like that. So I'm hoping I could be one of the fighters too that make the division big like these other heavyweight divisions and stuff like that. So I definitely want to bring more attention to this weight class.
No, for sure. Like I said, I mean, you always action packed fights in the low bantamweight and below. I just don't get it. With why the popularity isn't there. But you're gonna have to force yourself, by continuing to do what you do. There's a lot of great fighters you mentioned anyway, but Bam Rodriguez is another fighter, that's well within reach. You ever see yourself potentially fighting him at some point?
Yeah, man, we're in two different weight classes right now. He's at 115.
Yep.
Yeah, the kid, man, he's a pound for pound right now. So I definitely would like to fight him one day. And like I said, if he wants to come up to 118, I'll probably be here for another couple of years. So um, that'll be a fight that I would love to get under my belt, man. He's a good guy, a lot of skills. And like I said, I just want to beat some of these top fighters with big names like that. So it'd be an honor to fight him and get the victory.
Have you ever met him or anywhere, or have you guys ever spoken, sparred, been in the same gym?
I text sparred him one time at the Olympic Training Center, man, and I would have never thought, man, the dude was gonna blow up like that, man. I was surprised because just like I say, it wasn't actual sparring, but we're tech sparring, just only jabs here, stuff like that, moving around. But to see the way that guy like skyrocketed, man, just the talents, the weight classes that he was able to jump up to, that's respect, and the fact that he did it so fast, man, that was kind of surprising too. So yeah, that's the only encounter I've had with him. I've never really spoken to something like that, but he seems like a hard worker, very humble guy, and I would like to share the ring with him one day, man. So that'd be something nice.
Do you are you when you're not fighting and training, do you watch boxing? Like for example, Saturday night pay-per-view, are you there in front of the TV watching or
To be honest, nah, man, I'm very
you see, this is why I ask boxers that question. Like I remember my wife or somebody asking me, like, "Why do you ask fighters that?" I was, because you'd be surprised how many of them say no, which is crazy to me. But tell me why.
I like to take, man, because at least 5 6 days a week, man. My mind is always on boxing, so I
Okay.
like. I don't like to think about it too much because it's always on my mind. So especially on the weekends, I just kind of like to forget about boxing, just enjoy the family, just enjoy life, man. Because I've been doing this since I was 9, man. So this is like all I know. It kind of makes your mind overthink, and every time man, my mind starts thinking, how I fight this guy, how would I prepare to beat a style like this? That's like the first thing when I see a fight. I'm like, how can I beat this guy? How can I dissect him? And so I kind of like to take my mind off them things and just focus on my opponent. And unless it's like a big fight, like you got Crawford and Canelo stuff, like I like to see like main events like that. But if it's not
So
big fights, I kind
that's
of
what I was gonna ask you. Is there anybody that you would say, nah, 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 I have to see this guy or I have to see this guy? Any of those fighters out there?
yeah. Like I said, man, you got some of these big names, man, like the Crawfords, Canelo. That's a fight that I'm looking forward to seeing in September. Uh,
Who
but
do you have winning that fight?
I got Canelo, man. I think he's too big. I think his power, man. You can't prepare for that, man. I think Crawford has more tools. He has more skills, but just Canelo being the bigger man, he's a little bit more explosive with his shots. Um, I don't see I don't see Crawford winning, man. Like just because of size difference, but I think he does have a chance to beat him, just because he has more tools. But it all comes down to if he can take his power or not. If he can't take his power, I think he'd probably do the same thing Charlo did, trying to survive. But if he is able to take his power, place his shots where I could see him winning, a unanimous decision. But I'll probably have that fight like 60-40, man, for Canelo.
Fair assessment. Fair assessment. I actually had one of his cornermen on last week, Bernie the boxer, and yeah, he animatedly he broke it down. He's very very animated, very very passionate, a little loud. So the way he broke it down was pretty funny. It made me believe. It made me believe that maybe Bud does that because initially I was thinking the bigger guy is Canelo. Moving up 2 weight classes would be a tall task, but from a skill perspective, man, I mean Crawford can't be denied. If there's anybody that can do it, it's Bud Crawford.
No, he
You know,
definitely do it, man. He definitely has the tools to do it. I said if it wasn't for the size difference, I'd be like, But yeah, it's definitely gonna be an interesting fight, though, man. I don't think it's gonna be like this last dude, the guy fought, the 20 fought was a Charlo that kind of just went in there to survive. I think he's gonna
yeah.
kind of beat this guy, and I'm just kind of excited to see how that's gonna play out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm here with Antonio Vargas, WBA bantamweight champion. Are you interested in seeing the Tank Roach rematch? And if so, who do you have winning that one after that first one, the first draw?
Yeah, no, man. I know Rose personally, man. We went to Ukraine together. I think
Okay.
I would like to see him, man. I thought he won that fight. I,
Yeah.
I thought they did him dirty, but I definitely see him, beating Tank the second time, man. I said he was able to take his power, man, and he was able to back him up, and just I think he surprised a lot of people. So I think this next time, I think he'll be able to beat him if they give him the rematch.
Yeah, no, I supposedly it's talked about being happening at August 16th, I believe. I'm not sure if it's official yet, but that's the word. Yeah, I'm interested to see the second one after the first one. I mean, Roach did his thing. Yeah. And
Yeah,
arguably if they would have counted that as a knockdown like they should have, he should have won the fight.
no,
I had
definitely.
him win the fight. But yeah, no, Roach was a good dude. I met him, man. Great guy. I actually interviewed his younger brother, Jordan, who fights in the lower weight classes as well. I believe he fights at does he fight at 118 as well, I believe? Jordan Roach? Uh
I'm not sure about that.
maybe 115 or 118. He's new. He's a prospect. I believe he's like 4-0 now
Wow.
with the knockout. And I actually saw him fight when I covered a Pro Box card because he fights for Pro Box now. And yeah, yeah. He's gonna be on the rise. Make sure you check him out. He's in the lower weight classes as well.
I'll check him out, man. I didn't know he had a younger brother, man.
Jordan Roach. Yeah, Jordan Roach. Good guy. He won in Pro Box and I actually interviewed him for about 5 minutes after his win. Really, really good guy. But yeah, any other fighter like Roach that you have ties to that you will always have their back? I believe that you met Shakur and all those guys during the Olympic trials, right?
No, yeah, man. I spar a lot with Shakur. I fought him in amateurs. Very, he's like a brother, man. That
Yep.
dude right. He's a superstar, very gifted, man, and just man has a different IQ level, man. He's a very hard guy to beat, man. I don't see nobody beating that kid at his weight class, man. And he's just a very hard fighter to deal with, man. Just range control, distance timing very well. He's like I said, very crafty. And him, Clarissa Shields, man. I'm very close with her. It's Olympics together as well. And then Teofimo Lopez, man. Like I said, we trained together a couple times. Good friend of mine too. So yeah, those are some of the probably like my closest friends, from boxing that I'm still in contact with.
That's cool. That's cool. Obviously, Teofimo is always in the headlines for sometimes the wrong reasons, but there's rumors that he wants to try to move up to 147 and fight Boots. Do you think that's a wise choice for him?
uh, I probably man, Boots is at 147, man. He has a lot of tools, man. He's dangerous. But the thing about Teofimo, man, he's a power puncher, man. He surprises a lot of people, and you know, I don't think I don't think he's gonna take the fight at 147. I think he's probably just doing it for show, man. But if he takes that fight, man, that's a lot of respect, man. Because to be a 140 pounder to go up to 147, that kid, he's trying to chasing greatness right there, man. And him being a undisputed champion, beating Josh Taylor, another undisputed champion. He's done a lot of great things in the sport, man. So I'll take my hat off to him. If he fights this dude Boots and is able to beat him, man, that's like wow, man. That's that's three of the best fighters beat within like a 5-year time span. So that's definitely respected to Teofimo, man. He's definitely a great boxer, man, and very entertaining.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We got a couple more questions from the chat. Oh Wizard, my guy, Oh Wizard 01 from TBV. What's your favorite punch or combination to throw or land in a fight or sparring?
Favorite punch? It depends on the style, man. There's some style matches where I like to go for the hook a little bit more. So it's a little easier opening for me. But then a lot of times too, man, it's the that pull overhand right. Kind of time to jab. Those are probably my two favorite punches. Let the guy jab, come over across straight right hand, or left chin. I'd
You,
probably two
you
favorites.
broke up a little bit. You broke up because we couldn't hear that last one. After the overhand right, you broke up.
I'd say it would be a left hook. Yeah, left hook probably one of my favorite punches. Yeah, left hook or right hand. Just trying to catch him clean on the chin, man. Right hand, left hook.
The left hook is a typical Puerto Rican answer right there. The Puerto Rican left hook. The Puerto Rican money punch, man. We got Alberto in the building who just wants to show love, man. Champ, we rocking with you here at the Hangout spot. We appreciate you, Alberto. My man Discernment said, question, ring walk song for your next fight.
I was actually listening to the song earlier, man. It's called Awesome. My God is Awesome. So I was worshiping God, just on my way to the gym, and I don't know. I think that might be my next song, man. Going to Japan, I just want to show people how great my God is, and that's what I do it for, man. So it probably, yeah, awesome. My God is awesome. Be my next ring walk song.
Amazing, amazing. And the same person, discernment, said, "Glory to God, I am a new Box Life fan, fellow believers in Christ. Hallelujah, man."
Amen, amen.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. I know I've had you here for a long time. I just want to ask you one more question, man. I like to ask, fighters this question because I like their perspective in building the perfect fighter. So I want you to build the perfect fighter by picking one fighter for each of these attributes, but you can't pick the same fighter twice.
All right.
So who would you pick for speed? It could be past or present.
As a present, man, you got different type of speeds. So like you got like Pacquiao, the guy that has like a 6 punch combination speed versus a guy like Floyd, where he's like his reaction speed, man, like is like probably one of the fastest. If you're talking about speed, like reflex wise, I'd probably say more like a Floyd Mayweather type of speed, um, versus a Pacquiao type of hit you with like a 5-6 fast combination type speed. So
You got to go
I'll
with
probably
one.
say Floyd.
Floyd,
Yeah, Floyd. Yeah,
power,
power. I say Mike Tyson.
footwork.
I say Lomachenko.
Good answer. Defense,
Defense. Oh man, this guy up, Whitaker, Pernell Whitaker, man. Yeah.
ring IQ,
Ring IQ. Um, I like Ali, man. His IQ is something special.
heart and determination.
Heart and determination. Heart. It's a lot of great fighters, man. What's this guy's name? I think his name was Diego Corrales.
Diego Corrales,
Yeah,
Chico Corrales.
that's him for heart. Yeah,
That's a good one, man. That's a
yeah.
good one. And last but not least, especially in the day and age that we live in, where it's all about marketing yourself, star appeal.
Star Pill. Star man. Yeah, you said you can't say the name. I can't say the same fighter, right? I was gonna say Floyd, man, because Floyd was kind of the one man that he was able to make boxing a lot more bigger. Star appeal though, man. I guess Canelo, man. That guy is a superstar right now, man. What he's able to do in the sport, I probably have to say him.
That's dope, man. That's dope. I thought you were gonna say Camacho.
Maybe Camacho, yeah, he was a crazy dude, man.
I know you're gonna say Camacho for some reason, but nah, man, you can't go wrong with any of those guys, man. You've built the perfect fighter, man. That's what's up. I love to ask fighters that question from their perspective, man. This was amazing, man. As always, another amazing interview, man. What do you want to tell your fans, man, going into this into this next chapter, in your career?
Yes, man. I just want to thank all my fans that watch me, that's been supporting me, from a young kid and stuff like that. And I know this is just the beginning of something new, and I still got a lot more to do, a lot more to accomplish, man. So I definitely want to, I want to give glory to Christ, thanking him for, calling me, setting me to the side. Just want to thank Box Out Promotions, Eric and Omari for helping me. Thank all the fans, that's been supporting me, man. Because the fans, that's y'all make the fighters, man. Y'all bring attention. So I definitely want to thank all my friends, all my family, just supporting me, and even guys like you, man, with the boxing channels that give the platforms for fighters to share their stories, and just the platform. I just want to thank you as well, man, and I really appreciate everything everybody's been doing in my life.
Man, it's an absolute honor to have you here, man. But like I told you before, you family, man. You are welcome back here anytime. You
Thank you.
know, I don't, you don't even have to ask. In fact, I'll probably reach out to you, after July, get you back on here, so we could talk that boxing stuff. We got Dedrick Wetson who said "Power of Jesus," and I agree. Love that shirt, my brother. I do too, man.
Amen. I'll go to Jesus, man. I'll go to God.
I do as well, man. Last one. Where can people find you on social media if they're not following you already?
I got right now Instagram, Facebook, Antonio Vargas. You know, I got the blue check next to my name. So that's my two main sources of social media, man. So I really appreciate everybody that give me a follow, you know, give me a shout out and just, you know, follow my journey on the way to the top.
Absolutely, man. This was an honor, champ. I appreciate you jumping on, taking the time. I know you on a tour. It's getting really, really busy for you, but for you to show me some love and come on here, I appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man. You have a good night, man. God bless you, man. Thank you.
Same here, man. My best to the family, man. And good luck to you. We'll stay in contact.
Okay, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, take care. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A phenomenal interview with the new WBA bantamweight champion of the world, 118, Antonio Kingdom Vargas, man, who not only is a great fighter, man, but just a great person, man, a great human being. You know, a man of faith, a Christian, um, great family. You know, like I said, his wife Melody actually helped me facilitate the first interview that I did with Antonio. This was a couple weeks before his fight in December against Winston Guerrero. That was the fight that he won by 10th round stoppage. It was against a tough, undefeated fighter from Nicaragua, a puncher. A fight where they dropped each other in the early rounds. Antonio dropped him in the first round. He faced some adversity, got dropped in the second round. He was very, very honest, you know, in telling us that he was hurt. You know, he was hurt. And it took him a little while to kind of get shake off the cobwebs. But once he did, you know, he started cooking using that jab, and you heard him. You know, in the sixth round, that's when he knew that he could potentially or he would stop Guerrero, and he did that, man. He absolutely did that. He became an interim WBA champion that night. It was during the WBA convention. It was the main event. There was a lot of people in the building in there, including one of his idols, one of his Puerto Rican idols, Felix Tito Trinidad, was in the building. I got a chance to meet him. I mean, that was a highlight for me because I'm a big Tito Felix Trinidad fan as well. Growing up, one of my favorite fighters. So you know, I was in heaven that night. You know, getting to meet him, shaking his hand, talking to him for a little bit, getting a picture. So it was just a great night, man. You know, a great night. He went out there, he did his thing, won the interim title, came out after that, you know, to spend some time with the fans because that's just who he is as a fighter. And now, you know, since he wasn't able to you know, to get that title shot because of the guy that he was fighting, Seiya Sasumi, you know, cut himself the last fight, wasn't even gonna be able to make that defense, was gonna be out for a while. He got stripped, he got elevated to the WBA champion, but he's not satisfied, man. He wanted to win that belt in the ring. And now he wants to make a defense and he wants to unify. He wants to become undisputed in the bantamweight division, man. So you got to love that mentality, man. He's all about legacy. He wants to get all the straps in the bantamweight division. And shout out to Box Lab Promotion. Again, my family, Eric Enrique, Amari Piedra, they always show me love. I will always show them love and be loyal to them and their fighters as well. So shout out to y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed this interview as much as I did. Appreciate the chat. I apologize. I try to ask as much questions as I possibly could. No, thank you, my brother. Thank you. Appreciate you and all you've done for me and helping my channel grow and anything that I can do, obviously, you know, to give any of your fighters exposure, I am here. But yeah, I mean, I was trying to sift through the chats. This is what I'm telling y'all. If I missed a question, I apologize. But the best way to make sure that you get your question ask is to definitely super chat that because those come up as a starred message. So I see those. And you know, I'll make sure that those were read, especially if you are kind enough to throw me a donation. But yeah, man, let's talk some boxing. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna drop the link, man. I'm gonna drop the link, man. We're gonna start taking some callers, man. We're gonna start taking some callers because one of the things that we spoke about a little bit towards the ending part of that interview was Boots Ennis and Teofimo Lopez. Like, what the hell is going on with Jerome Boots Ennis, man? What is going on with Jerome Boots Ennis? Now Teofimo goes to social media, you know, and says that you know, the Boots Ennis is turned down to fight with him. Is Boots Ennis going up to 154? Is he ducking a Teofimo fight, which is a high profile fight? Is he not staying at 147 to fight Brian Norman Jr. in a unification? Like, what is going on? What is going on with Boots Ennis, bro? Like, I'm not understanding what's going on with Boots Ennis. Like, make up your mind, bro. You a unified champion at 147, bro, the lineal champion. What is going on, bro? Can you not make the weight? Well, then move up to 154. Do you not want to fight Brian Norman Jr. because they want to fight you? So I'm not sure what's popping, man, with Boots, but I do want to open up the phone lines, man. I want to get your thoughts on it. And if you want to talk about this interview, we could talk about that. There's a lot of shit going on in boxing, or there's a lot of shit that's going to go down in boxing. We got boxing this weekend. Amazon Prime, Caleb Plant, main event, Armando Resendiz, co-main, Jamal Charlo making his return against Thomas Cornflake Lamana. That's going down on Saturday. So let's throw the link in the chat. And let's take some callers, man, because we ain't going nowhere anytime soon, y'all. We ain't going nowhere anytime soon. If you want to call in, let's get it popping. Appreciate y'all. Chad, I did drop the link. Superman, what's going on, my brother? Appreciate you.
Let's go, champ.
Z Pacino, what's going on, my brother? Another one. Fire, I appreciate you, man.
My man.
I love these interviews, bro. That's my bread and butter, man. I love them. I can't get enough of them, man. Oh, Wizzy, thank you, man, and thank you for the question, bro. I appreciate you. But again, my guests are the ones that make the interview popping, not me, man. Oh, shit. We got my man Nestor Gibbs up in the building. What's going on, my brother? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming out and supporting. I see you, Johnny. Nah, man, I appreciate you, man. I'm just trying to be like you, bro. I'm just trying to be like you, man. Make up your mind. Give the guy some time, fellas. I don't know, man. We running out of patience, Ness. If you're talking about Boots, we running out of patience, man. I mean, because every other week it's a rumor. Did they send Brian Norman Jr. an offer? Is he fighting T.O.? Is he moving up to 154? Like, bro, tell us something, man. You know me, man. I don't want him to leave the division for selfish reasons because I want to see a unification with my man Brian Norman Jr., bro. That's the fight that I want to see. That's the fight that I want to see. I dropped the link in the chat. Let me pin this to the chat. Give me 1 second. Let me pin this bad boy to the chat. But yeah, man, if you're watching this on YouTube, man, make sure you hit that like button, bro. We are trying to grow. We're trying to grow and get this channel out to other boxing fans. They need to know that we rock out and we do these shows weeknights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, at least 3 times a week. We're going to start doing Sunday shows. We were going to continue with the call-ins. We're going to continue with the post-fight live shows so we can call in and either vent or talk about the fights that we've seen. And let's not forget, we're going to try something different in the end of August, beginning of September. For you boxing fans that are football fans, we're going to be doing a live call-in show on Sunday evenings just to talk about our favorite teams, man. Open forum, man. That's something else that we're going to try to do in the near future because there's been a lot of people that follow and support the Hangout spot that are football fans as well. I mean, you know, boxing is our bread and butter. That is my bread and butter. The interviews are my bread and butter. These live shows, my bread and butter. And they ain't going nowhere. But we're just going to add some more work in there. We're just going to put a little bit of football in there. We're going to get it popping with some football. But yeah, man, want to open up the phone lines? Oh, I was trying to pin that. Give me 1 second. Let me try to pin this. 1 second, y'all. Y'all know me. I'm a little slow with this. If you guys are watching this live on Facebook, make sure you throw me a like. More importantly, come on over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Call a friend. Tell your boy to tell his boy to subscribe to the Hangout spot, man. This is how we doing it up here. Right now, we're a small train, but we're trying to turn this bitch into a locomotive, man. In order for us to do that, we're going to need more passengers. So definitely spread the word and subscribe. We are probably about 100 subscribers less of our next goal of 2,000 subscribers. So help me get there, man.
Let's go, champ.
Help me get there.
My man.
But let's go out to the phone lines, man. We got my man, Team Sly McCall in the building. What's going on, my brother?
Oh man, long day. But I caught the tail end of the tail end. I was doing conditioning tonight, so I didn't get in at 9. But I caught the tail end, and what really stood out to me was how humble of a guy, just how humble of a person, how godly of a man. Um, I'm going through things in my own, walking in my own life, and it's hard to be humble in this sport sometimes because you confuse the confidence that it takes, and you're the only one going in there in the ring, and you accomplish certain things, and you get through certain hurdles, and you feel like you get through them by yourself, even though you have a team, or the team may be rocky. There's things that go on outside of the ring, and you have to be very strong to do this sport, but to remain with that level of humility at the highest level, as a champion, is just it's great to see. It's refreshing in a time where we got guys that is rage baiting for promotion, and wilding out and disappointing us, and that's just a breath of fresh air, though. And guys don't really sometimes pay attention to the lower weight divisions, but I think that we need to start paying attention to these lower weight divisions, because we got some great guys in the lower weight divisions, and just the fact that in not this not in the fight you were speaking of, that he got hurt and then he got a finish, and them guys is cracking down there. You know what I'm saying? Don't sleep on them. Them guys is cracking down there. So yeah, that was great to see. Now the boots. Oh, boots, man.
Talk to me, bro. Talk to me about Boots, man. What you think is going on with Boots, man? More importantly, if you had to make a prediction, what happens next with him? Does he move up to 54? Does he take the TO fight? Does he stay at 47 and unify against Norman?
The
What's
question
going on with Boots, bro?
the question I think with the TO fight is, one, Boots doesn't talk. So that's what really leaves us a lot of times in the dark about Boots, because Boots pop up when it's time to fight, and then he don't even talk that much when it's time to fight. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not who Boots is. And then his dad is the same way, so he doesn't benefit from what some of these other guys have, for promotion. And dad goes out and does a lot of interviews, because Brian Norman's real laid back. He ain't really trying to be all in the camera. So dad takes that on for him and goes out there and say, hey son, that's gonna be my part. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go out there and get your name out there, and I'm gonna do the work. And so Boots just does all the talking in the ring, so we don't hear nothing. So it's real confusing. But I think the biggest question is, does T.O. really want the fight? Because T.O.'s like Tank to me. Tank and T.O. are similar in this. When they talk, they do a lot of talking, and they gonna beat everybody. But especially with T.O., are you talking to just be a talking point and to have us talking about you, or do you really want that Boots fight? Because that Boots fight is a dangerous fight, and you haven't even, Haney's made the league to 147. We've seen Ryan Garcia make the league to 147. You know what I'm saying? T.O., that would be your first fight at 47 is Boots. Like, man, listen. Now, we know that T.O.'s main motivation in everything that he's been doing is, I see you, Alberto's. T.O. and Tank similar. No, just in that they both say things that we can't trust all of the time. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't know if T.O. really wants that fight, because I don't see Boots turning it down. You know what I'm saying? I don't see many better options. I mean, Haney maybe. Do we if to make the Haney fight. Maybe that's a better option that they like better. So I think that behind the scenes, they're trying to find the best option for Boots at 47, the best money. Obviously, the fight would probably be in Philadelphia. You know what I mean? So and then there's, you know, who's the A side, who's the B side, who's, you know what I mean? It's just a lot probably at the negotiation table. Eddie is another character in boxing that I can't always trust what he says. He's left the door open for 54, and Eddie's the only one that we really have speaking for Boots right now. So he's left the door open for 54, but he says he likes the TO fight. He definitely, you know, that would be a great fight. So I don't know. I think that if I had to make a prediction, if TO really wants to fight, I think they would lean into the TO route for two reasons. Haney's probably going to be a bigger payout that they would have to make, you know, to bring Haney in. And TO is an obvious B side and would probably be a little cheaper on the wallet. So I think they would lean towards the TO fight. I don't think either one of them produced like that much of a challenge for Boots, honestly. To be honest, you know, TO's a slick boxer, but we really haven't seen him carry the power as he's gone up, you know, going to 140. We don't know what he's going to look like at 47. That's your first fight at 47. You know, Boots has been at 47. Everybody wanted to look back at the before his last fight with Stan Jonas. Oh, he was Skeletor. He was drained down. I'm like, listen, I understand the weight cutting process. And I think we even had a conversation about it somewhere, one of the chats that we were in. And I was like, I think it was here. It was here at the Hangout spot. And I was like, Johnny, I've been through that.
Yeah, I think it was here. Yeah, I remember
He
that.
he cut down to a deficit. Like he pushed himself hard to blow up even bigger because that's what you do. You have to give yourself room. So, and that was days before the fight. So, you know, I think he still make 47. I think that he would definitely be interested in unifying. I think the Norman fight was probably something that they were probably going to lean towards because that gets him the belts. If that, you know, that's what they're trying to do, grab the belts and then go to 54. But Norman went the Japan route. So now I think Tio. I would say Tio. If Tio wants to fight, Tio is just going to be about making it happen. And honestly, we probably won't know anything for another couple months.
Well, listen, I mean, I think Tio does want that fight. I mean,
Yeah.
he put out a tweet earlier, you know, that I think he took off. I was trying to find it, saying that that obviously Boots doesn't want to fight and he's disappointed and he's thinking about retiring because these guys don't want to make, you know, the big fights. Again, I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not, you know,
Yeah.
don't quote me word for word, but that was basically what it was like a 3-paragraph tweet that he
Yeah.
put out, and I was trying to find it, but I can't find it. So I don't know if he took it off. If anybody was able to screenshot that, you know,
Fighters
let me know.
fighters getting their feelings when they don't got no fight. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and T.O. is no stranger to wanting fights that a lot of people don't think he's ready for. I mean,
Yeah.
there were a lot of people that didn't think he was ready for Lomachenko.
I was
You
one of them.
know, yeah, absolutely. There were obviously people, you know, thought he was crazy for calling out Josh Taylor at a higher weight class, and you saw how that fight worked out. So I say that to say I don't think T.O.'s capping. I think T.O. will want that fight. What I don't understand is realistically why Boots wouldn't want it. I mean, it's a smaller guy moving up. You know, most people, if you take a poll, you know, are going to think that, you know, that Boots potentially stops Tio. I think it'll be a better fight than most people think. I'm not saying that Tio will win, but a lot of people just having Boots steamrolling Tio. I don't know if that'll happen.
No, in the early rounds, Tio will be slick. It'll be entertaining in the early rounds.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But you know, that's not a fight that I'm personally interested in. Again, you know, for selfish reasons, man. You know, I want to see a unification against Brian Norman Jr. That's the fight that I want. And the Normans didn't walk away, you know, from the offer. They just said that they would be willing to sign that after this fight.
It's a master plan. It's a master plan, and I respect what the Normans are doing, and you kind of have to know the insight to the business of boxing. Earlier on the Boxing Voice, round one was kind of going at Floyd Senior a little bit, and And he was like, "You don't know the you don't know the business of boxing. You don't understand the business of boxing. So I can't explain it to you because I've explained it to you." And I understood what he was saying because it was like we're trying to position. It's about positioning. You know what I'm saying? If you play chess, you sometimes you make a move. It's position over pieces. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might sacrifice a piece for position. Position is very, very important in that game. Boxing is chess as far as the business of boxing. And so it's about who did you beat? Who have you, you know what I'm saying? And as you're trying to build this profile to get these bigger fights and get to belts, and you need former champions and you need certain guys, and then you need them at the right time. Timing is everything in boxing. Timing is everything. So I think the Normans understand that the Boots fight is a big fight, and we're going to fight the fight. But if we do it too early, we're not going to capitalize and get the money and the recognition for, the Boots fight that we want. You go out to Japan, your purse goes up, and you hopefully, your notoriety goes up. You bring in a bigger audience, and then we go from there. Now we go to the negotiation table. I have more leverage now at this table, whereas before, Boots kind of really held all of the leverage, even with Norman having a belt. So, and Norman's young. I don't think there's anything wrong with him getting a little bit more experience before going to face a Boots.
No, I mean, I agree. I agree. I just think they're both on a collision course.
Oh, they have to fight.
So why not sooner than later? Again, there are people that feel like Boots is too big for the division. So how long does he realistically, let's say even if he wanted to take his next fight at welterweight, how long do we think that Boots is going to be a naturally built welterweight? My
I don't.
prediction going into this year was this would be the last year that we see Boots at welterweight. I thought in 2026,
Yeah.
we'd see him at 154, maybe even sooner. And there's obviously that option that he does go to 154 sooner,
This is
later in the year.
this is the fight. This is a fight that for Boots that just popped in my head. I think I've thought of it before. Because he's right there with Matchroom. Why not make a Boots Conor Ben and have Boots go over to the UK and introduce him to that audience at 47? Would you be
I
mad
would
at that?
nah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I still think that unifications are better. We're talking before the Pacquiao thing got announced with Barrios. I'm like, well, who's going to mix it up with Barrios? Is it going to be Boots and Barrios next, and then potentially if Norman wins in Japan, does he get the winner, or vice versa? Does Norman get the Barrios fight if he handles his business, and then the winner gets Boots? I don't know, but that's what I would have wanted to see. I think this division needs it. This
Yeah,
division definitely needs it, right? This division, the welterweight division, has notoriously for years, even when I was younger, has been like the
it was it.
the standard, right? That and heavyweights. It was the
Yep.
heavyweight division that everybody clamored around, obviously, and it was the welterweights. Now we've entered a phase where it's becoming more top heavy, but it's not as deep or as glamorous as it was, if I could use that word, as it was years and years ago. So I think it needs it. I think it needs it.
It's a little stale at welterweight right now.
Yeah, of course.
But then having Devin Haney come to welterweight,
It's gonna
that
get better.
that
Absolutely.
injected some life. Ryan Garcia
Absolutely.
come in.
Absolutely. It's
What
going
we
to get
thought
better.
Ryan Garcia. Well, here's another one. Here's another one. We didn't see Broly Romero being a factor at welterweight, and he seems to be cracking at welterweight. And he beat a very popular guy in Ryan Garcia. So what about Rolly? And who's the so
I'm
because
not hating on Rolly. I mean, you gotta throw him in the mix, and he's earned that right,
and
you
he
know?
had what did he have like a what type some type of WBA belt?
Who?
Rolly. They get
Oh, he
that.
did. Yeah, he was a former champion at, what was that, 140?
No, no,
Was it
no,
at
no, no.
140?
He got a belt for that Times Square fight.
Oh, yeah. D was
What
it an
is that?
interim belt or something? Yeah.
Like the interim something. It's a something
Just
because
with
they
the
were
one.
trying to give Ryan Garcia a belt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a something.
And that
And
shit didn't work out so well for Ryan if that was the plan. But yeah, you know how it is in boxing, though. I mean, they make up belts,
yeah. But I'm saying
depending on the fighter,
that
but
it.
it's an interim
So if
title.
he has
Alberto said it's an interim title.
Okay, it's an interim title. So
Yeah.
if he has that, that's with the WBA. So who's the real champion in the WBA? Is
Right now the WBA champion at 47
that's
is Boots.
Norman. Oh
Yeah,
no,
Boots has the ring, the IBF and the WBA. He's a lineal
so he has the
champion.
ring, the
Yeah.
IBF, and the WBA. So if
Well,
he, so Rolly, let's do a Rolly.
Ro- um,
That don't
Norman
sell.
Jr. has the WBO and Barrios has the WBC,
Yep.
and that kind
Okay.
of shapes it out. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, Boots is he's frustrating because another thing was he had an opportunity to move up to 154 after that last fight to fight Virgil, and they
Yeah.
turned that down. So which one is it? Which one is it? If you stood at 147 and you turned down that opportunity, I'm thinking that you plan on unifying, or not unifying because he's done that, but plan on trying to win undisputed
Yeah.
and get all the straps. So I'm not understanding it, man. People could say what they want to say about me being a Norman guy. I mean, they're my
That's your
people.
guy.
You know that I'm actually going to be spending some time with them this weekend. I'm actually hitting training camp. I'm driving down. I'm gonna hit training camp. So
Oh man,
again, for all of you guys that are watching, I'm probably going to be doing a live at
from
some
training
point
camp. I'm
this
excited
weekend.
for that.
Brian Norman Jr.'s training camp. We're gonna hook up with them. But anyhow, my thing is people can say what they want to say, but they're calling they want the Boots fight. I never heard Boots say that he wants the Norman fight.
No, he always dismisses Norman.
That's what
Kind
I'm trying to
of.
tell you, and I'm not understanding why. I mean, the only thing he said about Norman after his last win was Norman's not good. So if he's not good, then why don't you fight him and take his strap? There's something not right about that. There's just something not right about that. So, it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. But
I don't know, man. Dang,
I'm just
boom.
getting tired of
You
the
get
back
me,
and forth.
you get me. I wasn't agitated at first, but now we sitting here and we going. You know what I mean? We trying to find. You're like where. Now I'm kind of like, man, Boots. What is you doing, man? What's the hold
I
up?
I don't know. He doesn't talk much, right?
Hold up with the hold up, man. Yeah,
He
he don't
doesn't
do no talking. He don't say nothing.
he doesn't talk much. And my thing with Eddie Hearn throwing that out there, making them an offer or having them sign a deal. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with the Norman saying, "We'll sign it, but we'll do it after we win." Yo, can you guys hear me? Yo, let me get a sound check in the chat, man. Let me get a sound check in the chat. If you guys can hear me, let me get a sound check. All right. My bad, man. My bad. So I don't know if I told you this earlier, but we getting hella rain here tonight. Thunderstorms, shit like that. So I was kind of afraid that this would happen at some point. Luckily, it didn't happen in the middle of my interview with Antonio Vargas, man. And good looking out for y'all for staying here with me, man. Nah, I ain't got no McDonald's Wi-Fi, man. That's nasty, bro. We just it's that time of the year, man, where we get a lot of rain. And unfortunately it's happening in the evening. Usually it happens during the afternoon hours, 3-4 o'clock. And then it kind of clears up in the evening and gets disgusting out here. But my apologies, y'all. But thanks for rocking out, man, and not going anywhere because I don't want to go nowhere, baby. We back, baby. It's going to take more than that to get rid of the hangout spot.
Let's go, champ.
Let's go back to the phone lines. My bad, Mikhail. I know I cut you off by accident. Actually, it wasn't me, but Mikhail was cooking up in there. We talking about, we just did a great interview with Antonio Vargas, new WBA Bantamweight champion of the world. Great interview. If you guys did not have a chance to check that interview out, you came in late. Make sure you check it out after the show is over. Right now, we open up the phone lines. We talking about boots, man. We talking about boots, but let's go back out to my guy, Fight for Fight Sport Talk. What's going on, champ?
I'm doing good, Johnny. Thanks for having me on as always, man.
Bro, you the man. Thanks for waiting, man. I know I had everybody the chat was like, what the hell's going on?
Hey, Johnny, do you want to know what was funny? I called in literally about probably a couple of seconds after the Wi-Fi broke. So I got on. I was like, "What's this blank screen?" Did Johnny just? I was like, "Did I call in late and Johnny just forget to end the stream?" But I'm glad I stayed on.
And it just went on. The lights just went on and off. So obviously, when that happens, it resets the modem. So you got to wait for it to come back on. Crazy.
I hear you, man.
Up, well, talk to me, brother. Talk to me.
Yeah, man. I got a lot to say about this Boots Teo Haney triangle thing.
Let's go, cook.
Well, I've been catching a lot of flack for the last few weeks because I've been saying on every show I've gone on, I don't want to see Teo fight Boots. And if people say, "Oh, why, man?" It's like style wise, I'm just putting it to you like this, Johnny. Style wise, Teo gets annihilated by Boots. I have no doubt he would fight his ass off because Teo, he's a warrior, but styles make fights. Teo relies on two main things to win his fights: his athleticism, so combination of speed and reflexes and all that, and his size. Like that's how he beat Lomachenko. Boots is huge for welterweight, and he's a terrific athlete. So for me, that fight would not be that competitive. So I've been wanting to see Teo fight Haney, and this idea that Boots may have ducked Teo to me is pretty ridiculous because I don't see how you can duck someone who's, first of all, Teo. There's no doubt Teo's a great fighter. Or actually, no, I don't want to say that. He's a very good fighter, but at the moment, I don't think you can call him great yet because he's proven to be one-dimensional when it comes to cutting off the ring. Like you throw in Sandor Martin and Jermaine Ortiz, and this guy suddenly doesn't look that great. So therefore, it was ludicrous for me that there were people saying Boots ducked him when Boots is a very good mandatory in Gyasov. Like, I know Gyasov's not a big name, but we're boxing hardcores. We know the biggest fights aren't just the guys you know about, that often they're the guys you don't know about, i.e. Tyson Douglas, i.e. Kambosos beating Teofimo. So for me, I don't know if Teo versus Haney is going to happen. But for me, it's the reason why that fight is so intriguing is because Teo, again, he has shown that he can be outboxed, but at the same time, these guys know each other, they hate each other, the dads hate each other, and Haney, we've seen he can be caught, and Teo can still punch at this weight. So I hope that fight happens, man. And while people may want to see Teo go up and challenge Boots, I personally really am happy that the fight's not happening.
Fight, I agree with you. I am not really interested in seeing Teo go up. Now, I do respect the fact that he's trying to move up a weight class to win another title. or to attempt to win, a unified title at 147. I get that. But that's not the fight that I want to see. I would prefer to see him fight Devin Haney as well. I would prefer to see him fight Tank Davis. I would prefer to see him fight some of those other guys at his weight class, 140, rather than move up and do this. And I don't understand. I really don't understand why Boots doesn't want this fight either. I mean, like I was telling McCall earlier, it's a smaller guy moving up in weight. And it's a good opportunity for him to make a good payday. And realistically, steamroll this guy, like you said. I do think that Tio will make the fight competitive in the beginning of that fight. I mean, but I don't know. I wouldn't pick Tio to beat Boots at the higher weight class. Tio has proven that he's not a big puncher. At 140, and I don't think he'll be a big puncher at 147 either. So, I agree. I kind of agree. People been giving you slack about him against Devin Haney because I kind of agree with that. I would prefer to see that fight as well. Plus, there's a rivalry there. Like they've hated each other for quite some time.
Yeah, man. And when I say people giving me slack, it was mostly people who don't like Devin Haney. And I'm not a huge Devin Haney fan. I put Haney's no different than any other fighters to me. I praise him when he does good, like when he fights Lomachenko. And, I thought Lomachenko won the fight, but I keep saying this to people, even though I thought Loma was kind of hard done by, I thought Loma was going to kill him in that 12th round, and Devin Haney showed the heart of a warrior. So you got to give him credit for that. So I give Haney credit when he never showed quit against Ryan Garcia, despite the fact Garcia came in heavy. So I give Haney credit when it's due, but I also critique him when it's warranted. Mostly, I've been speaking to people who are just more critical of him than I am, and they say, "Oh, why does Tio need to fight Haney, man?" And it's like, well, like when it comes to Tio, like first of all, these people who just want to criticize Haney, they can't admit that Tio, because their reason for being big fans of Tio is one, that he's exciting, but they also say, "Oh, look at the names he's beaten, etc." I'm like, yeah, but also look at the names he lost to. Like, look, like that Kambosos loss is looking more and more bad as time goes on because Kambosos isn't doing anything good, and I thought he clearly lost to Jermaine Ortiz. I mean, if at the absolute most it was a draw, but even that's being a bit generous to me. And it's like Tio didn't look good in that fight. He didn't look good against Sandor Martin. He didn't even look that good against Steve Claggett. So this idea that Tio doesn't need to worry about Devin Haney and he's already surpassed him, really, to me, is just, it's bizarre because, and the other thing with the Haneys is that I can understand that they wanted to take zero risks against Ramirez because, first fight back, it was a bad night against Ryan and, really bad. Lennox Lewis did the same thing after McCall iced him, or didn't ice him, but, for the audience who don't know, Lennox Lewis was gun shy after that fight, and he's lucky the immediate rematch didn't happen because even when he fought McCall afterwards and McCall had a mental breakdown, he was still gun shy in that fight. Vladimir Klitschko, same thing. When he came back, he was a little gun shy. Like even Roberto Duran, he needed to rebuild himself after Tommy Hearns iced him. So these things take time. So I don't begrudge the Haneys for needing to build themselves up. And with Tio, it's like you said, it's the rivalry for me. And they both won their fights, and they're both at the top of the sport. And 140 is stacked. I mean, we got these two guys against to fight, but you also got Puello, you got Hitchens, you got Russell. Like, make the fights, man.
I agree, man. There's fights down there to make, man. There's fights down there to make, and to me, there are fights at 147 for Boots to make. Not a guy moving up, from 140. You can unify. I want to see that Brian Norman Jr. fight. I wanted to see him potentially against Barrios. Now, obviously, Barrios is fighting Pacquiao, so that's off the table for now. But what about trying to go undisputed in the division before you move up to 154? And then when you do move up, let's say you move up to 154, who are you fighting? Because obviously you didn't want the Virgil Ortiz fight. So who are you fighting at 154? Some guy that's obviously going to be, a light touch, moving up a weight class. No, I'm not interested in it. I'm interested in seeing you, unified champion, try to go undisputed in the division. There's people in there that want to fight you. And again, I get a lot of slack because I'm a Brian Norman Jr. guy, but at the end of the day, they're the only ones mentioning Boots Ennis. They're not mentioning Brian Norman at all. And that for the life of me, I can't understand. I can't understand that. I mean, I something's not right. Something's not right. So, and I'm not saying Boots is scared. I would never say that. None of these fighters are scared to fight each other. So I don't know if it's more of a business thing or what, but they're just hesitant to not only mention Brian Norman Jr.'s name, but it's almost like every time he's mentioned to them, they get annoyed by it. And I'm not getting why. He's a champion in your division. We want to see unifications.
That is an excellent point, and I mean, I've got the same frustration you have. Like, because we're hardcores, we know how the sport goes. Whenever you hear fighters have this very smug up above, like standing above somebody kind of view and say, "Oh, why do you even mention that guy? He's not important." I say, no. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that crap. I want to hear how you guys are going to go in and knock 7 bells out of each other. I don't want to hear you say why you don't need to fight this guy. And that's been my biggest. Like, people can. I've got plenty to expose about Tyson Fury when he finally retires, but that's been my biggest issue with him for over 10 years. He's been doing this for a long time. That's actually been my biggest issue with Tio over the years. He says, "Why do I need to worry about this guy?" I'm like, because he's a champion in your division. Like, you ain't God yet. It's so I think maybe it's just Bozy Ennis being a bozo. Like, I think they just want to hold themselves above their adversaries. But no, Norman's. I keep saying, people, of course I would pick Boots to beat Norman, but Norman's got heart. And I say this, I mean, we appreciate this as hardcores. He was not picked by Top Rank to beat Santillan, and he showed balls in that fight. He showed heart. So, of course, as a fight fan, I love that. So he would definitely fight his heart out. I will say, there's a part of me that doesn't think we'll ever see Barrios fight Boots, because if you're pulling an ancient Manny Pacquiao out of retirement, I think you're muted, Johnny. Yeah, I'm not sure if the chat can hear you. I can't. Maybe my headphones are. Well, just before I head off, because you may need to move on to new callers. I just have a feeling Barrios' team may not.
I can hear you now. You cut off. What? Yeah. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened there. So I guess what I'll just say about Barrios, because they're so desperate to bring out a 46-year-old Pacquiao who really should not even be competitive in this fight. There's just a part of me that thinks maybe they are prepared to hold that belt hostage. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, good point. Yeah, I'm not sure what the hell's going on there. Do you give now that we're on the topic, do you give Pacquiao a chance to beat Barrios?
I can't. I mean, I just can't do it, man. Like, Pacquiao, okay. I just put it to you, and this is no disrespect to the Filipinos out there. I just very quickly, man. I always think about this when I think of Pacquiao. I was in my mid-20s. I was out having a night in the town. Came across this amazingly beautiful Filipino girl, and she said, "Oh, you're into combat sports. Who are your favorite fighters?" And of course, I mentioned Pacquiao because he had just beat Thurman, and she just said, "Oh my God, Pacquiao's like a god in the Philippines," and like she was like the biggest fangirl ever. But realistically, Pacquiao shouldn't be competitive in this fight. Like, he's 46. He's really should have been retired like 10 years ago based on how this guy fights. And he's been out of the ring for almost half a decade. Barrios, as bad as Barrios' defense is, he should be able to pick Pacquiao apart pretty easily. But who knows? I mean, I said the same thing when Pacquiao went in there to fight Thurman, and boy, did he prove me wrong. So if he's got decent life back in his legs, which would be beyond incredible at this stage, then I can see him picking Barrios apart. And I'll just, since you asked me about Johnny, before I jump off, I just got to say this. How insane would it be if we are suddenly talking about Jaron Ennis fighting a 47-year-old Manny Pacquiao next year? I mean, just to even just the fact that those words even left my mouth. Boots fighting 47-year-old Pacquiao. I just cannot believe I'm even saying this.
Now, that fight he would take. I guarantee you that fight he would take.
He would take it.
Absolutely.
He would take it, but it's like, I mean, 10 years ago, Johnny, sorry, just before I jump off, 10 years ago, Johnny, we talked about the fight of the century, short century, but Pacquiao, like Mayweather-Pacquiao. Then years later, we had Pacquiao upsetting Thurman when Jeff Horn beat him, controversially, but still Jeff Horn did get the win. He took Keith Thurman's O. 2 years later, we were talking about Pacquiao fighting Spence, and now, I mean, could we be a fight away before we talk about Pacquiao fighting Boots Ennis? Like, I just can't believe it, man.
That's crazy. I never thought about that, man. But you never know, man. You never know.
Unbelievable. Anyway, brother, thanks for having me on, and
always welcome. You family. You're always welcome here.
Thank you, brother. Peace, guys.
Appreciate you, man. Fight Sport Talk, our guy, family member, the chat is cooking. Yo, I appreciate y'all hanging out, man. Through my little Wi-Fi deal. Y'all stood in there, man. Y'all the best, man. I ain't gonna front. If you haven't smashed that like button, make sure you do that. Tell a friend and subscribe to the Hangout spot, man. We need less than 100 people, I think, somewhere around that, to get to our next goal of 2,000, man. So help a brother get there, man. Call somebody, tell them to hang out with us here in the Hangout spot and subscribe. Let's go out to Canada now with my man Chad. What's going on, Chad?
Hey, Johnny. Thanks for taking my call, man.
So you're not working right now? Usually when you call in, you're working. Are you off work?
No, I'm working. I just took a break so I could do this. Yeah. So, no biggie. But good show tonight. Sorry. And great interview, Johnny. Great interview. I think Vargas, interesting fighter, because it's funny, like people was talking about him going to Japan and whatnot, but bantamweight, I'm pretty sure of all the divisions, Japan has the greatest foothold in bantamweight. Like last time I looked at the ring rankings, I think like 7 or 8 of the top 10 ring fighters are in bantam were Japanese fighters. 3 of the champions are Japanese, right? You've got Junto Nakatani. Is it Nishida and is it Takai? I'm not sure how you say that. I'm not sure if I got all those names right, but
yeah,
outside
Nishida and Takai. Yep.
Yeah. Like outside of him, it's 3 Japanese champions, man, and the rankings are filled with Japanese fighters. So, I mean, it would seem that he's probably going to have to do some fighting in Japan. And I don't think that's the worst thing. I mean, obviously you'd prefer to fight it in your own backyard, but I mean, money-wise, the money's going to be right. And the Japanese fans are good fans. Like, they respect good fighters. So as much as they're going to root for their own fighters, they're going to respect anyone that's bringing a good fight to them and showing them a good night. So I don't think it's the worst thing. But shout out to Vargas, and I want to see where he can go and what he can do. I mean, he's in a tough division right now, bantamweight, man. It's filled with killers right now, man. Definitely a sharp division. But as far as the Tio thing, I got the Tio thing on my mind now, man. And
bro, Cook, what you think?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm going to say I haven't been paying a lot of attention to social media or like what's being said in the media, period. As far as I'm concerned, I don't really think the Boots and Tio fight's going to happen. It just seems like a lot of like what Tio does, right? Like he was doing with Bud. And I really wanted Bud and Tio, but I just feel like Tio, it's like that bait and switch thing they do in boxing. They talk a lot about certain fight, and then at the last minute they give you the real fight. I don't think he's going to fight Boots for a number of reasons, and I don't think Boots really thinks he's going to fight Tio. And if they're going through any motions publicly, it's just to get people talking. That's how it looks to me, anyway. I think Tio is, I think, a great fighter, and he's been a great champion, and he's accomplished a lot. twice lineal, took it from the man twice. Let's get that in there too. Took it from the man. But Tio's biggest problem, Johnny, as a champion, has been defending. He doesn't defend enough. In fact, he barely defends at all. Now, I don't know what the stats are currently, but I can tell you that just off the top of my head. So what? He took the belt from Taylor, and then he probably had like close to a year off or something. He fought Claggett, right? And then, and then what? Remind me, am I missing something? He fought Taylor, Claggett. Did Ortiz come in there somewhere?
Hold on. I'll tell you right now.
Can you look it up? Yeah.
Yep. I think, was it Claggett? His last fight? No, it was Times Square.
No, he just fought. He just fought Buddy. Yeah.
Oh,
but I mean before that. Before that,
I believe it was Claggett. Yeah, that was Claggett.
Yeah. So I'm saying that, okay, so sorry, I totally forgot Barbosa. Yeah, of course. But okay, so yeah, Taylor, Claggett, Barbosa. So those 3 fights are probably over the course of 2 to 2.5 years. I mean, and really, once he took the belt from the man, became the champion. I mean, I thought Claggett put on a good fight. It was a good scrap. Barbosa, not so much. I mean, what I'm trying to say, Johnny, is I'd like to see him shake things up at 140. Shake things up at 140. Like he's a good champion. He's the lineal he's the man in the division. Like, defend, man. Defend. Fuck, what's with these guys? Like, everybody, they just want to take the path to get a belt, and then that's it. They'll drop it and move on right away. I would like to see a champion defend. And I know I've said it in the past on here, but Rayo is a good example of why champions need to defend, because sometimes these guys, they can get the path of least resistance to a belt, and once they're the champion, we need to see them defend to show they're really what about it. I mean, it takes a lot more, I think, of that passion to defend your belt than it does to get it. Keeping that belt, I mean, especially with young, hungry guys coming up, mandatories. I don't know. That's just me, though. Maybe you call it old school, whatever. But I'd like to see Tio. I think he's got tons of great options. Aside from the champions, there's lots of great challengers at 140. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with that. I just don't think the boots thing seems like a gimmick to me, But I got to say, I kind of disagree with the last caller. I'd like to see him and Boots fight. I think it'd be a good fight. And that guy was saying that Tio, he's athletic and he has his size. But I would say Tio's biggest thing is he's a counter. In his last few fights, countering is his big thing, almost to a fault. Like he's like waiting, So I think Boots is a big counter puncher. So actually, it's kind of interesting to me that those two would fight and see. Hopefully, they don't just stand in front of each other waiting the whole fight. But I think it'd be a good fight. I think they'd be letting their hands go. I think it'd be a good scrap. But I think Tio gets beat. That's why I just don't think he's going to take that fight for the reasons you were kind of saying too, Johnny. Like going up, Boots is a big guy, well established at that bigger weight. Tio moving up his first time, 147. It just seems like a lot. To use his belts to move up and get that opportunity, I don't know. I would love to see him challenge himself like that, though, if that's what he wants to do. I just want to see Tio taking the fights we know he should be in. And if he's going to fight Haney, this is what I think. He should take this angle. He should challenge Ryan too. And he should make the gimmick. The whole gimmick should be, I'm going to end these guys now. Like, these guys are like looking bad. Public opinion's against them. I'm going to finish them, and get out there and get the fans riled up. I think that could work really well. I think it'd be a big fight, money-wise, tickets-wise, whatever. And I think it'd be a good fight. And I think Tio could finish both those guys off. I don't see what's wrong with that angle at all. That's the thing. Tio's got a lot of great opportunities, I think. But why do I feel like he's going to end up taking another kind of Claggett type of fight? I don't know. What do you think, Johnny? Like, are you expecting a big fight for Tio's next fight?
I know he's shooting for it. I'm
I
not
hope
sure,
so.
man. I'm not sure, but the only reason why I tell you that I don't want, I mean, and I would totally watch it if it were announced, him against Boots, is because of what you said. There's just so many better fights for him at 140, in my opinion. Like, for example, somebody just brought up Mikhail. Shout out to you. Why not fight the winner of Kambosos and Hitchens? I got to be honest with you. Ever since he lost that fight against Kambosos, I've wanted him to get back. I know there's a lot of people out there that were like they're not interested in seeing it. I am, because I'm a firm believer that if they fought 10 times, I think Tio would beat him 9 out of 10 times. I just think he's the better fighter. Kambosos, no disrespect to him, he had a great performance that night, but I just think that Tio is a better all-around fighter who fought the totally wrong fight the first time around. That's just my opinion. So I wanted to see that fight. Plus, it's a rivalry fight. They both hate each other. You know how I feel about rivalry fights. But if Hitchens wins, I think it's a good fight between Tio and Hitchens. There's been some back and forth there. Tio and Devin. I think Tio and Ryan, eventually would be a good scrap. So there's just so many different fights, and we're not even talking about the Gary Antoine Russell. We're not talking about the Matias if he's able to beat Puello, or even Puello if he beats him. There's just so many good fights at 140. Why move up to fight Boots at 147? That makes no sense to me. Of course, I watch it, and I wouldn't count T.O. out. I wouldn't pick him to win. I would pick Boots to win that fight. But again, T.O.'s the type of fighter that every time his back is against the wall and nobody thinks that he has a shot to win that fight, he comes out with a good performance. He fights down to his competition. That's always been my biggest criticism, is T.O. So I said a lot there. So now I'll come back to your question. Chad, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who's
Yeah.
if it's not Boots, and he has no interest in fighting Haney, but because for some reason I don't know why that fight has not happened. That fight should have happened 2 years ago, in my opinion, or whenever it was. I don't know. I don't know what angle T.O. goes in, but I will tell you that the whole thing about him being racist and stuff like that, it's not doing him any favors in trying to get any of these big fights with the African American fighters. So maybe he should try another angle.
Yeah.
Maybe he should try another angle. If that's his angle to try to get a big fight against any of these guys, it's not working.
No.
So try something different. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But if I'm Boots, I don't know. I mean, I take that fight in a heartbeat. Smaller guy moving up, a name, a guy that I know that I should potentially walk right through. Why not? You get a bag, and or I don't know how much money he would get. I wouldn't say a bag, but I mean, he's going to make decent money.
Oh, the money'd be right, Johnny.
Yeah, the
Look,
money
man,
would be good in a fight against T.O. because T.O. is a high profile
hell
name.
yeah.
So why not? Why not if you're Boots? So I bring the whole thing back to Boots, and I put a poll out there. What's next for Boots? Because Boots doesn't talk.
Yeah.
We don't know what the hell's going on. If it ain't, if it's not Eddie Hearn, or if it's not, Bozy during one of these interviews, we don't know what the hell's going on with Boots.
I mean, I think that was kind of why his career was moving so slowly. He's just not that media guy. And in one way, I kind of respect it, because we see all these guys, I mean, just constantly blabbering on Twitter. And, I don't like that either. But yeah, like, give us a little something, give us a little info, or even, like, just get on there once every couple months and just talk a little shit, call somebody out or something. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about Boot. I just, Johnny, as a fan, I'm willing to. This is where I will wait. I will put it out of my mind, a fighter in this position, and I'll move on to watching other guys that are active and doing stuff, and I'll just wait. I'll just wait as a fan until I hear something solid or they come up with something. That's the problem with podcasting and these type of shows. You need content. But sometimes these guys are not delivering that content, you just got to like move on. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, shoot, man. And Brian, the Norman and Boots fight, yeah, everyone's been talking about it tonight. But I don't know if like the Normans, I mean, that's a lot, man. Boots will be a lot. And I like Norman a lot. I think he's a great champion, but in some ways I do think he's ready for Boots and he should just get in there and do it. But I don't know if they will,
Hey,
I don't know if they think they're ready.
If you don't think he's ready, then yeah, I mean, you have a right to be able to say that.
But on the other hand, I mean, it's a situation where he'll have a couple fights from his layoff, right? let's say potentially he'll do this next fight, and he could fight Boots. I mean, I feel like a couple fights within a year, that should be enough for him to be ready and have a camp, and that's it. So if he could do it, Johnny, I think he should. Because like you said, Boots is probably going to move on, and that ship will sail, right?
Yep.
So I don't know.
Shout out to Dwayne Styles, who said, shout out to Chad in Canada.
Cheers, man. Thanks. I appreciate that, bro.
Yep. And also,
it's
Vince
nice
Colbert. Vince, I just want to tell you this. Vince Colbert, obviously TBV, Vince Colbert. They actually did it unguarded today, man. Excellent show. He's going to be fighting OC the Boss in Border Wars. So, he said, first time I've seen Chad from Canada.
Yeah, some people on TBV, they'll make fun of my voice and stuff. And so I'll do a little reveal here on the Hangout spot, is that people usually joke, like that I'm a white guy and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any problem with that. First of all, I'm Canadian. But my mother is Jamaican born. My mother moved here from Jamaica at 16 years old. She's one of 9 children. My grandparents moved them up here because the violence at the time in Jamaica, political violence, was really bad. And my grandparents ended up moving. They couldn't stand the weather, so they went down to Florida. But my mom stayed up here because she met my dad, right? So, but my mom's not black. She's what you call a browning. She's like darker than me, but I mean, so man, I'm not. And on the flip side, I'm not coming on here and pretend to be something I'm not. This is how I sound. This is how I look. So deal with it. Chad from Canada. Here it is.
Nah, you cool, bro. You brother. You my brother. You know that, bro. You family, bro.
Cheers.
We all fucking family up in here, including Ebenezer Stuntman Griffith, 5-0, 1 KO, 154-pound prospect is in the building. He's family.
All right.
Love Johnny. We're tuned in, brother. Nah, I love you, champ. We've had him on the show twice. We've had him on the show. If you want to call in, the link is in the chat, champ. Call in, man. Give us your take.
Yeah.
Bro. I love his breakdown.
I'm going to jump off anyway, Johnny. I got to get back to work, bro. So thanks for having me on. Cheers to the chat. And I like the Hangout spot chat, I was going to say, because, they're just showing love and stuff. Like, man, I go on other shows to talk, and as soon as you open your mouth, people are immediately disrespecting you and talking crap. It's nice at the Hangout spot, even if we don't agree. We don't have to be insulting each other and whatnot. Man, it's not about that to me. It's only boxing. It's not that serious, So I'll talk to you soon, Johnny. Cheers.
Appreciate you, my brother. There you have it, Chad from Canada, man, on the check-in, bro. Now's the time to call in, y'all. Again, Wizard. Vincent Colbert. Again, Vince, good interview today, man, on the Unguarded on the Boxing Voice, bro. I enjoyed it. We're gonna try to get Vince up in here with OC, bro. With OC, is that who you fight? You fighting OC, right? Or is it Wizard? I'm sorry, I always confuse those two. Yeah, man. Good night, Dwayne. Thanks for rocking out with us, man. Thank you for rocking out with us, Dwayne. You are the man. We are here live at the Hangout spot. We're taking calls. We did a nice again, we had Ebenezer Stuntman Griffith, who's 5-0 prospect in the 154-pound division, extremely talented, from Louisville, Kentucky, the birthplace of the great Muhammad Ali. He just won his last fight. We had him on about a week and a half after that on the live show about a few weeks ago. And he's a regular on the show, man. We will continue to bring him back as his career progresses. He's my guy. And he always tunes in to show love. So I appreciate you, champ. Again, man, if you want to jump in here, the link is in the chat and give your take, bro. I love his boxing takes, man. I love your boxing takes. Boots said he just wants unifications. Got to respect him for being consistent. No Virgil and no Tio, only unification. Well, if that's the case, then let's make it happen. We're waiting for it. That's what I'm saying. Like where did you hear that? Is he saying that, or is people close to him saying that? Because I just need him to come out and say, you know what, I want to fight Brian Norman Jr. because he's got a strap. I want to fight the winner of Barrios and Pacquiao. He should have wanted to fight Barrios before Pacquiao came along. Again, y'all know me. Oh, it's Wizard. I'm sorry, man. Wizzy and Vince fighting. I got to get you guys on the Hangout spot, bro. I don't know if you guys were watching. Last Sunday, we had Tip Bayless on. We did a nice interview with Tip, and all of a sudden, I was able to pull it off, and I was able to get Lobo on the panel. They went back and forth. Great promotion. It was like a virtual trash talking press conference. Good promo leading up to Border Wars 16, which is on in August 2nd in Wisconsin. I want to get you guys together so you guys can talk that shit, man. You guys can promote, man. Talk that trash to each other, man. It's all about good promotion leading up to, a big fight. A big fight. My bad, Wizard. I always confuse you and OC for some reason, name wise, man. But yeah, man, that first fight, the first round was entertaining, but again, Wizard suffered a shoulder injury, separated his shoulder. Vince won the fight, but now the rematch is on. Both are gonna be healthy, so we got to get them both on. Look, looks like it was entertaining. You talking about Tip and Lobo? Yeah, that was entertaining, man. They went back and forth, and like I said, Lobo had been quiet. Just working in the gym, sending Nest videos of him, hitting the bag and sparring. Tip has been the vocal one on the Boxing Voice, talking that shit on the Boxing Voice, promoting the fight. So I got him on to do some promotion, but I was like, I got to get Lobo on. And we worked a little bit, and shout out to a couple people that made it happen and get me in contact with him. And he came on the panel, and they were talking that shit. If you guys haven't seen it, make sure you check it out at the Hangout spot on YouTube. It was dope. Two-Tone the Superstar actually joined the panel as well. He was talking a little bit of shit as well. But we got to get you guys on to do your own promo. We usually do those Sunday nights, Sunday evenings. Usually is a good TBV edition. Sunday night, 7:30. We'll set it up, man. We both get you guys on and you guys can talk that shit. Yeah. No, I appreciated it. But yo, getting back to my man Stuntman, my brother. If you guys ain't following Stuntman Griffith, bro, he gonna be a special one. 5-0 in the 154-pound division. Prospect from Louisville, Kentucky, bro. Make sure you check him out. Bro, when you get a fight announced, you gotta hit me up. We gotta get you up on here, man. Cause we support you family. Yup, Lobo was cooking, bro. Lobo was talking that shit, bro. I love it, bro. He wasn't intimidated by Tip at all. He was talking that shit, man. This is going to be a great fight, and I think your fight against Vince and Wizard is going to be a great fight as well. Again, we will talk behind the scenes, set that up. We'll do it. Border Wars edition, virtual press conference. Wizzy, Vince Colbert, we'll get you guys on. And we'll make that happen for the community. But let's go back out to the lines. My man Malcolm is up in the building. What's going on, my brother? Welcome.
Yo, how the audio? We good?
Perfecto, bro. What's popping, bro? Talk to me.
Just chilling, man. Another day. It's the hangout spot, man. You know I gotta be over here, bro. So what? It's just like a little, cause I kind of just jumped on, bro. You know how I am, man. I just jumped on. I'm like, yo, let me show Johnny some love.
So we did an interview earlier with WBA Bantamweight champion Antonio Vargas. Really good interview. I know you're probably going to check it out later. I think you'll enjoy it. Great guy. He was also on the Boxing Voice, but he's just been elevated to champion. Hard guy to root against. A man of God and one hell of a fighter. So that was a good interview. And then I decided to open up the phone lines and take calls. And during the middle of one of the calls, bro, my internet went out. So I disappeared, but the people in the chat, because it's been raining. It's been hella raining over here in Florida, man. It's that time of the season. It's only going to get worse in the summer where we get a lot of thunderstorms. So my lights just went on and off, but I had to wait for my router to restart. But everybody in the chat was just cooking up in here, so I jumped right back in. It took me like 3 or 4 minutes, but I jumped right back in, and we just continued to.
I seen something about my bad. I seen something a poll about this whole Tio shit and Boots.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny because I seen the notes about it. But I just seen it all over Twitter. So, I mean, my thought on that, with Tio with Boots, I was kind of disgusted, with him saying he wanted to move to 154 because I wanted the Virgil fight originally when he turned that down. But I could understand it from the point of, Norman's tied up. Right now, you got the Barrios and Pacquiao thing going on, so he really can't unify, you know. And maybe 154 is becoming too hard for him to make, especially with his last fight after he looked at the weigh-in. You know what I'm saying?
You mean
And
147, right?
yeah, that's what I said. My bad. Yeah, to make
154.
147.
Yep.
My bad. So for him to make 147, you know, I could tell he's probably struggling. But you know, he's staying true to his word. If he's not into the TO fight, all he said that he wanted to do was unify. So he's kind of really sticking to his guns. And to be honest, the only play that I could see is for him to fight his mandatory. I forgot homeboy's name.
Is it
I'm trying to.
Diasov?
Yeah, it's him.
Mm-hmm.
Just fight that mandatory. You know, get that out the way so you don't have that little defense. I was thinking he would have had a quicker turnaround to do it in August if he would have just jumped on it before. Brian Norman's fighting in July, and then you guys would have just been able to unify after that. Because I feel like the Barrios and Pacquiao winner, you know, this is a conspiracy that they try to do a Pacquiao Mayweather too. But I feel like that play is gonna be for Devin Haney. If he magically just jumped into like number 1 in the WBC or number 5, I think he's number 1. Yeah, he's number 1 in the WBC ranking, and he got like, you know, he's in good standings with them. I feel like if Pacquiao wins that, that's like his big money fight, and that'll definitely elevate him higher in the game in terms of an A side. Plus, you'll be beating a legend. You know, if not, you'll be fighting somebody like Barrios, who's also a common opponent with Tank. We're probably not gonna get that fight anyway, but you know, I just thought that was the play, man. So I'm not really too mad at Boots. You know, it's unfortunate. I really want to fight with him and Brian Norman Jr. And, you know, I've been giving Brian Norman Jr. a lot of shit, you know. So for Boots to not do this, I kind of just had to take the back seat. I'm like, damn, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, T.O., fight Devin, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's only calling out certain names, but then there's other guys. Like, anybody who's really a jab-friendly fighter that's going to utilize their range, like, he just doesn't want to call them out or fight them. You know, he doesn't really want to fight Shakur. He don't want to fight Devin. Keyshawn, we seen the sparring footage. He knows Keyshawn is a troublesome match. That's a bad match. And I think Tio could actually still do good against these guys because of his ability. You know, even especially against somebody like Keyshawn. Like, I think Keyshawn will beat him. But you're a guy who fights moving backwards, technically. You know what I'm saying? And you got fast feet, and your countering is sharp. But I don't know. Maybe it's confidence. I don't know what's wrong with that guy. You know, and I'm trying to put all like the racist stuff aside and just give like an actual take. But he kind of loses me, you know, because he's another person that just holds up the division and he wants to pick and choose who he wants to fight, you know. So yeah, that's really my thoughts on that. Yeah, and then the last thing, because I spoke on this on TPV, right? This Pacquiao Barrio shit. I don't know your thoughts. I'd like to hear your thoughts after this. But I got Pacquiao getting cooked. You know, and I get it. He's a Hall of Famer. You know, he's a legendary fighter. He's an all-time great. I'll tell you this, right? I could go right now. I could go to the gym. I could start hitting the bag, and I swear to God, you would think that I could fight Inoue. Like, my bag work would look that clean that you'd be like, damn, this guy could probably fight Inoue, you know? But, you know, I'm not going to just judge Pac-Man off of his bag work because everybody looks good on the bag. And then it's when you're sparring and it's when you're in the ring that your age really shows, you know? I had made the point that guys like Bernard Hopkins, they relied mainly on their IQ, even though he was active and he won a belt late. You know, he's a really high IQ fighter. You know, he just, it's like almost like a chess match. You know what I'm saying? He's like 2-3 steps ahead of you. He's setting up traps. So that's why he's able to win so late. When you got guys that really rely on athleticism, like Roy Jones, you know, and then Pacquiao relies on like foot speed and angles. When those traits diminish, we really see who you are and we see how you fight. Manny looked like ass in his last exhibition, you know. So I don't know, man, but I'm gonna roll with Barrios on that. And if I'm wrong, I'll call in and I'll take my crow, bro. But I think that's really all I gotta say, Johnny. I fuck with you. We appreciate you. That Border War show, legendary, bro. You got to do that shit more often. I had Tip winning that. I'm gonna be real, because you know Lobo had a little bit of clapbacks, but it's just he doesn't look like he's built to just be like snapping and going back and forth with people. Like Tip had him on the ropes, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like he had him. And then Lobo's energy kind of got up there once, you know, Ness was finally able to call in. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then, yo, Ness, next time, I don't know if you here and you listening, the next time when niggas is trying to get you on the panel, jump on the panel, man. We know you don't want to jump on because you can't cut niggas off, Ness. You know how you are, bro.
I love it. Yo, I hope he's here.
Oh
He was here
shit.
earlier. He was in here earlier. I don't know if he's in here now,
Nah,
but he was in the
he
chat.
probably sleeping or trying to get his little steps
Yeah,
in, man.
I don't
Let
think. I think
me.
he makes a cameo. Ness usually makes his little 5-minute, 6-minute cameo. He'll throw. Other than actually, no, that's the only show I can tell you, Malcolm, that he was on for the majority of the show, going back and forth in the chat.
Yeah, nasty, man, because he got to promote his fighter, you know?
Yeah, but I'm saying we were trying to get him on the panel. He didn't want to jump on the panel. There were people that were telling me to time him out. That shit was hilarious, bro.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I'd have probably told him, nah, I wouldn't do that, though. If I'd have been on, I'm like, nah, I got to time him.
I
Because
think
now he done
people,
set me to the gulag.
yo, but somebody actually timed him out for like 10 seconds or something like that in one of these shows.
Oh, that's it.
I forget who
Nah.
it was. Well, I don't want to say who it was because if he's listening, then he go.
Yeah, don't do that, man. Allegedly, they did that.
He gonna throw buckshots, so I won't do that. But yeah, somebody timed him out for like I think it was like 10 seconds or something. Then you never saw him again. I don't know if it was on that show, if it was on another show, because Ness usually pops up on here. He pops up on here. He makes his cameo appearance and he throws his comments here and there.
Yeah, him and Tone, man.
Yep,
I'll tell you, man, that getting timed out is a dark place, bro. Because you just see everybody else just chatting and you just sitting there and you can't do shit. That shit is dark, bro.
I heard you talk about that in the gulag, man. That shit was funny earlier when you called
Yeah,
in.
man, that shit is it's a terrible place, bro.
Nah, it was dope.
But,
We're trying to set up Old Wizard and Vince Colbert. We're gonna set that one up. You know, for they can do
oh
their
yeah,
little
I gotta,
verbal
and
spar
I'm gonna
back
let you
and
know,
forth.
man. I gotta roll with Old Wizard on that. You know, it's no disrespect to Vince, but
Okay.
Wizard's a New Yorker, bro. He's straight New York to AZ, just like me. That's my guy, bro. So I'm gonna roll with him.
Well,
Plus,
they
you
hear
know,
They both
yeah,
in the chat, so they hearing you.
that's what's putting smart on my boy's name. He was saying that he got stopped, like my boy got injured. But you know, shout outs to Vince too, man. I want to actually see that rematch, but I just gotta go with my New Yorker, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
I
they
just
hear
gotta
you.
go for my guy, bro.
They both in the chat, but that's gonna be a good. We'll set that up. We'll get them on a Sunday night so they could do their little verbal spar back and forth, their little promotion. I think these are gonna be good to do going forward, so that we can promote these fights at Border Wars. And one of the things that I did forget to do that you brought up a good point. I should have put up a poll like who's cooking who here to see what the chat was thinking. But
Oh yeah,
because
you
that was
gonna
a
get
good one
everybody
between.
steaming.
Yeah, but that was good because everybody was giving me feedback about it afterwards. Like, yo, that was such a good back and forth. Blah blah blah. I think Tip won. I think Lobo won. There was a lot of people that feel that Lobo cooked, but you know,
Yeah,
everybody's
bro.
gonna
Like,
see it a little bit differently.
and I'll give you credit for that, bro. Like, my bad for holding up so much time, but I give you your props because you just let everybody just get their rocks off. You know what I'm saying? You was just sitting in the back and you just let them talk. So
Gotta
I
let
was
them
like, that's
talk
good
their shit.
without you, just jumping in and shit. And we needed to hear that, man. Like that was a great show, bro. So hopefully, like you're saying, you know what I'm saying, this is more down the line. You feel me? We can
Yep.
just keep getting this more because a lot of people don't really call into the morning. Sometimes, motherfuckers be busy. So, if they could just come on to these later shows and then you could just
Yep.
do your thing and just let them build up. I'm all for it, bro. I'm always down for the promo. But I'm gonna catch the rewind. I'm gonna catch the interview. Shout outs to you, Johnny. Shout outs to the Hangout Spot community. I'm gonna holler at you, bro.
Appreciate you, my brother. Thanks for calling in, man. That's my brother Malcolm, man. On the check-in, he works late hours, so sometimes he can't catch most of the show, but he always will shoot me a message afterwards, say, "Yo, I saw the show. I caught it on on the rewind. It was dope. It wasn't. I get good feedback." Again, I love when people reach out to me, good or bad, man. Just give me some feedback because we want to make these shows even bigger and better, and we're gonna start doing more of these. Like Malcolm said, I want to start being a regular in the evening. Right now, we're doing 3 shows a week. We may go to 4 shows a week, maybe even 5. I don't know. We're doing stuff on the weekend as well. I still got to find some wifey time in the middle of there. But I love doing this, man. If you guys haven't smashed that like button, make sure you do that. And tell a friend to subscribe to the Hangout Spot, man. We are close to our next goal of 2,000 subscribers. But man, I got a special guest here. Without further ado, family is in the building. My man, Stuntman Griffith. What's going on, champ?
Man, what's good, brother? Just I was tuned in listening to y'all talk about that T.O. situation. I had to
know,
come
man.
on.
I appreciate you, man. I know you always rocking out, man. You checking out the shows and stuff, and you throw some comments in there. It means a lot to me, man. Like I said, man, we got a young superstar in the making here. 5-0, undefeated from Louisville, Kentucky. We've had him on the show twice. I love his boxing takes, but more importantly, I love where his career is headed. So you family,
Man,
you family,
appreciate that,
man. And
dog.
we are here at the Hangout spot. Not just me, but the viewers. We are part of your journey. But I appreciate, I appreciate you coming on, man. Talk to me, man. What you got? What you got?
Man, dog, I got a lot. Malcolm gave some really good takes. But man, that TO business, bro, he's been very consistent. I gotta say. Talking about Jerron Ennis here.
Right. He wants. What do you mean? T.O. been consistent wanting the Ennis fight? Is that what you're saying?
No. Jerron Ennis has been consistent with like
Oh.
what he wants.
So tell me what he wants, because I'm confused, champ. I don't know what Jerron Ennis. So maybe you can break it down to me. What does Jerron Ennis want?
Man, he said exactly what he wants. Like so many times, he said, "I want unification." He wants to become undisputed.
So then, why is he entertaining a fight with Teofimo Lopez?
He's not
why is he
entertaining
saying
a
now
fight
he
with
might
T.O.
move to 154?
Man, he's before his last fight, right, with Steady Otis, the whole time he was saying, "I want unification fights." Everybody was talking about like him going up to 54, and there was a whole controversy about like why he wouldn't fight Virgil Ortiz. And then like he was super consistent. He was like, "I want unifications. Like I've been staying at 47 because I want to be undisputed. Like I don't want to fight Virgil Ortiz. I want to be undisputed." Like I gotta respect that, man.
I want him to be I want him to attempt to be undisputed.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Trying to collect all the straps at the 147 division. I think we need that. I think this division needs that.
Hey, that Norman fight is gonna be tough though, bro. For him to get through Norman, man. Norman's got real skills and he's big. Yes, I see him and his dad on the Hangout spot a lot.
Yeah, I'm actually going to spend a day with them in camp this weekend. More than likely this weekend. They were training in Big Bear for about a month, and now they're back in the gym in Atlanta where they're from. So I'm going to be driving down. I'm going to spend a day with them. I might do a live show from the gym.
Oh, that'll be fire, bro. Yeah, I'm definitely
I might do a live show from the gym. Definitely, we're going to interview him ringside. Obviously, he's got a big fight coming up, a title defense in Japan on June 19th. So I'll be there with them. Yeah, they're my people. Just like you, everybody that comes to the Hangout spot, they're family, but they want that fight. They want that fight. And Eddie Hearn, supposedly, I don't know if you heard, made him an offer or, to fight Boots next, but, and they're not, they want to take the offer, but they just want to wait till after this fight is over. Do you think that's a good idea? Because I think it's a good idea. Talk to me as a fighter. If you were presented with that opportunity, would you do the deal before your fight or would you wait till after?
Afterwards, you have more leverage, provided that he goes and he handles business. He's fighting Jin Sasaki, if I'm right.
Jin Sasaki, from Japan, man.
Over in Japan. I watched a little bit of film of him the other day. He's a good fighter. I think Norman wins. This is definitely going to be a tougher fight though than Norman's last fight. Them Japanese fighters, they don't come to lay down at all.
I agree. Much tougher. Yep.
We just saw that with Angelo Leo. He went over there, fought a Japanese guy. I thought he won like unanimous decision, but he ended up winning split decision. But man, these Japanese dudes, they don't come to lay down. So I think it's definitely going to be a real tough test for Norman. But if he gets through this fight, man, he's got all the leverage. It's like Caleb Plant whenever he fought Canelo. Canelo was trying to originally get Caleb Plant to fight him, and they offered Caleb to fight on like 7 weeks' notice, and then Callum Smith ended up taking that fight on 7 weeks' notice. But Caleb Plant, he was like, I have a belt, I got all the leverage. So I think it's definitely like a smart business and a smart boxing move by Brian Norman as well. One, because he's going to be able to get more experience under his belt. He's a young champion. He's going to be able to get more experience, more big fight, big crowd experience, fighting over there in Japan. They pack those arenas out. So I think it definitely makes all the boxing sense, but also makes business sense in that he has more leverage coming to the table. Once he's been a champion, he's had two solid title defenses, continuing to build his name, continuing to build his brand. It just makes more sense to come to the negotiating table once you have more leverage, and I think it's a super smart decision by them. All the people that are saying they're ducking, Brian Norman is not ducking the fight, man. It's business. It's business.
I agree, but that's what fight fans are gonna see, and all they're gonna see is, well, they made him an offer and he, refused to. Come on, man! Like realistically, what's the
Yeah,
big deal? Why not wait till June 19th? Like it's just a few
yeah,
more weeks away. Once that fight is
exactly,
over,
bro.
Brian Norman Sr. told me personally that once that fight is over and they win that fight, the next
Yeah,
day they will
yeah,
sign whatever, or they will negotiate
yeah,
whatever deal they want because they want that fight. But
yeah.
I don't
And
know,
this time
man.
they'll have more leverage.
Yeah, and I just don't think it's wise for any fighter to look ahead. Like I
Yeah,
don't
for
like that.
sure.
Like I'm tired of
Yeah,
seeing, like for example, the Ryan and Devin, and well,
yeah,
if they win their fights, there's already a deal that's signed for them to
yeah,
fight in September. Well, how'd that work out?
yeah.
How'd that work out? Like,
Exactly.
they got people to fight, and the other person that they're fighting is also a professional
Yeah.
fighter that trains
Even
to
with
win.
like Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, Turkey Al Sheik, he had been planning for them to fight each other, and then Deontay Wilder went out there and lost to Zhang. Like you gotta keep your mind focused on the guy in front of you, because he's just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, once you're overlooking him. So I definitely like that they didn't go to the negotiating table right now. They're going to wait. They're going to make sure they handle business. Because I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm here with Ebenezer Stuntman Griffith. He's in the building, bro. He's family. You guys got questions, man? Just throw them up there. If not, I threw the link in there. If you guys want to ask the, future champ here a question, bro, you're more than welcome to be able to do that. But I'm glad you joined us. What do you think about this Pacquiao and Barrios fight?
Ooh. Well, I think it's a money grab by PBC. And I mean, why not? It makes business sense, so of course it's going to make sense everywhere else. My question is, how he gets elevated to the number one contender coming off a 3-year layoff, 4-year layoff? That's crazy.
So that's what I said on the prior show.
And a
Welcome to the
loss
world.
at that.
Right, exactly. Like, welcome to the world of boxing in the year 2025, where shit like this can happen. Malcolm actually asked me, like, I don't know what you're gonna think about who will win. I'll tell you this, Malcolm. It's simple. How did Pacquiao look against Ugas? Not good,
Bad.
right? He lost that fight. How did
Good the
Barrios
first
look
3
against
rounds.
Ugas? Right. How did Barrios look against Ugas?
Knocked him out.
Barrios actually beat Ugas. Come on, man. There's no way that
Yeah.
I believe that I'm going to believe, and he's got to make me a believer. But I'm sorry, at the end
Yeah.
of the day, there's no way I'm going to believe a 46-year-old. I don't care if he's a legend or not. I'm a big Pacquiao fan. I've always been a big
Yeah.
Pacquiao fan, but the facts are the facts. He's 46 years old. He's only fought once in the last 5 years. He fought an exhibition fight against a guy that was bigger than him, in
Yeah.
Japan, and that guy pounded on him for the majority of that fight. Like, there's no way. Like, people are disrespecting Pacquiao. Barrios is a champion, man. He's
Yeah.
a champion, and he's in his
I don't think
prime, and he has
Barrios is the
youth on his
strongest
side.
champion.
He's
But
not the strongest champion,
he's got more
but
than
he's a
enough to be
champion.
Pacquiao though. Yeah.
But he's a champion, right? So the
Yeah.
disrespect, I believe, is crazy. Like, Father Time is undefeated. He's got to make me a believer, but I'm almost I gotta be honest, champ. I'm almost afraid to see Pacquiao win, because then what the hell happens now? 46 years old, and now he's in the mix for
Yeah.
now you're gonna have Boots that'll want to fight him instead of
Man.
fighting Norman, and they, like what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
I'm almost afraid to see Pacquiao win that fight. So I don't believe that he wins, but hey, it's here. That's why I wanted to get your take on it, man. But I don't think that you see Pacquiao winning that fight either, obviously, from what you said, right?
No, definitely not, man. I think one Pacquiao is definitely up there in age, but it's not necessarily the age. It's like his style of fighting. That style doesn't age like gracefully. It's always a tremendous drop off. We think about guys like Roberto Duran. their primes are extremely like elite, you know, and Pacquiao is even greater than Duran. You know, he's had one of the longest primes, you know, in boxing history. But man, I think Barrios goes in there. I think he handles business, and honestly, he might stop him late. He might stop Pacquiao late.
That's what I'm thinking, man. I don't think this fight goes the distance at all. I
Man,
really
hey
don't.
Johnny, bro, we might have to put a little money on Barrios stoppage late. Barrios stoppage like around 10, around 11. You know, throw a
What,
couple of dollars on FanDuel.
I forget when we made our predictions the last time when you were on the show, we were kind of spot on, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think me and you disagreed maybe on one fight, but other than that, we were pretty spot on, and I think we did all right, Didn't we?
Yeah. Man, we gotta start keeping count. We gotta start keeping track. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. As we do this on the regular, we gotta start. We definitely gotta start keeping count. So I put a poll out there. If you guys haven't voted, make sure you vote. So I said, what do you think Boots Ennis will do next? 13% said fight T.O. at 147. 22% said move up to 154. 43% said fight Norman Jr. for unification. And then 22% said, who cares? He's ducking big fights. so I think people think that people. So I put that poll out there. So people,
yeah,
in the chat think that it's going to be Norman Jr. in the unification. I hope so. The only issue I have is it seems like the Normans are the ones that are talking about this fight, and you really don't hear Boots Ennis and his people talking about it, other than what
yeah,
Eddie Hearn came out and said about the deal. Other than that, it's almost like they get annoyed when Norman Jr.'s name is mentioned, but I don't understand why. He's a rival in your division who has another strap. Fans are going to say he needs to fight him just the same way fans would say Shakur needs to fight Tank at 135.
yeah.
But it's almost like he
Oh,
gets annoyed by it. I don't know why.
I'm not sure. I don't think Boots Ennis is the kind of guy who just like does interviews in general. You know, I never really see him on like you know, different podcasts and things like that, or you know, just doing interviews in the gym or anything. He's a very like he's more reserved, you know, when he tries to.
Oh, yeah.
I guess he like keeps his private life guarded. You know, that's cool. You know, not everybody came to the sport to be a crossover star. You know, some guys just want to fight.
Yeah, no, I agree. But he did say after his victory, his last win, which was an excellent victory. I mean, that was his best performance to date. I mean, he broke down Stanionis, man, a tough fighter.
Yeah,
He cooked in that fight. I gave him credit. That when people would somebody in the media during the post fight asked him about Norman or whatever, and he kind of got ticked off and said, Norman's Jr. is just not good. He's not good.
what?
Oh, he did say that. Yeah, I wish I could
Yeah,
pull it up now. He said that was the most that he said about Norman,
yeah,
because other than that, his father was talking about it, how they should have took the money, blah blah blah, and they talked themselves out of the negotiation, and he just told the guy, Norman Jr. is not good.
yeah,
So my thing is, if he's not good, then fight him.
yeah.
Then why don't you agree to fight him? I'm not understanding it. So it is what it is. I'm hoping that we see that. I got a couple of questions here. We got my man Chad from Canada said, ask him if Tio needs to defend more as a man at 140. What do you think about Tio at 140 as opposed to going up to 147 to fight Boots? I think that's where Chad is coming from.
I think Tio needs to stay at 140. He his last fight, he didn't look very like big in that ring. If anything, he looked like he was significantly the smaller man. And then as far as just like his power at 140, we haven't seen the same power that we saw at 35. His only stoppage at 140 was against Pedro Campa. In his first fight at 140, he's a guy, with not a big name. Man, I think Tio needs to stay at 140. If his body can continue to make 140, I think he needs to stay there. And then there's big fights at 140, man. There's definitely some big fights at 140. He's still got guys like Rayo Valenzuela down there. He's got guys like Keyshawn Davis, who honestly I think this is Keyshawn's last fight at 135. There's definitely like big money fights for Teofimo Lopez at 140. whether that's like a Regis Prograis, just to get that name on his resume, if he wants to stay active. But I think he needs to stay far away from Boots and Norman.
I agree. Take care of business at your own weight class, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he'll be a small 147. And again, like you said, to your point, he hasn't carried his power to 140. What makes you think that all of a sudden he's going to become this same puncher that he was at lightweight?
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. We got, let me bring Chad up in here. I think Chad wants to ask you a question. Chad, what's going on, my brother? You here live with Stuntman Griffin, brother?
What's up, brother?
We can't hear you. You're muted. If you want to talk, you got to hit unmute, brother.
Sorry about that, guys.
There we go. What's going on, brother?
Yo, Stuntman, I'm going to just ask you something and then jump off and maybe hear you guys just talk about it. But what I was trying to get at with the question I was asking about Tio is basically he's the lineal champion at 140. I was saying earlier, I feel like Tio, if there was any criticism I would have of Tio in his career, it's that he hasn't defended enough. Every time he's accomplished a belt or a lineal championship, he really hasn't defended and moved on. I'd like to see him defend more at 140. So I'm wondering what you think about that, but also just about champions defending in general, like the state of boxing right now. It seems to me like fans and the media want fighters to be moving divisions all the time, and that is somehow a measure of a fighter, a measure of a champion is moving through the ranks as quickly as you can almost, where I'm feeling like champions aren't defending enough anymore. I feel like that's the mark that's kind of missing nowadays from great champions, where I feel like moving through the ranks or up in division, yeah, sure, that's great. When it's appropriate, when there's a fight, when there's something that calls for it. I'd love to hear what you have to say about any of that, Stuntman. I'm going to jump off, man. Thanks, Johnny.
We appreciate you, champ. Go ahead. I'll let you take that away.
Man, absolutely. Appreciate you tuning in, brother. Also, everybody in the chat, man, hit that like button. Hit that like button. It's a free way to support the show, to support Johnny, the Hangout spot. It makes sure that we're able to reach more people and bring them into the Hangout spot. So it's a free way to support the show. So make sure you hit that like button. Man, to answer his question, I think it definitely depends on the fighter. One reason why a lot of times guys move up is because they can't make the weight anymore. We're human. Our bodies age, and as we get older, it gets harder for us to like whittle ourselves down to make that weight. So in the case of guys like a Keyshawn Davis, he said that it's getting harder and harder for him to make the weight. So in cases like that, obviously, move up, don't continue to kill yourself and have lackluster performances, just to stay in a weight class. But I do have to disagree that there aren't champions, who defend their belts a lot. We look at guys like a Jermell Charlo. He defended his belts like a lot and he became undisputed at 154. We look at Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. He had like 17 title defenses in a row or something crazy like that. All in one division. He moved up from 54 to 60. He was at 60 and had like 12 different title defenses. We see guys like Terrence Crawford. He had like four title defenses before unifying at 147. So I don't think it's necessarily that champions aren't defending their titles. I think it's just a lot of different champions, and I think that a lot of times the focus gets put on guys who are moving up and not necessarily the guys that are staying at their divisions and making consistent title defenses. And in terms of like Teofimo Lopez, he's had 4 title defenses now, against Steve Claggett, against Ortiz, and then his last fight. So what is that? He's had 3 title defenses. I think 3 title defenses, man, is pretty impressive. They always say it's tough to become a champion. It's even harder to stay there. And three title defenses is super impressive.
3 is good, but in comparison to what you said, like the Triple G's, the Charlos, do we move away from that? Are we moving away from that where there's double digit defenses? Do they just want to do 2 or 3 and then they want to move up or to a bigger money fight, or to your point, outgrow the division? That's what I think, because it's almost like the way sports is today. Like, one of the records that I think will never ever be broken in the history of sports is the consecutive games played by Ripken in baseball. This guy didn't miss a game in like 18 years. That'll never be broken,
Yeah.
because these guys are missing games left and right. In fact, now even
Yeah.
in basketball, there's load management. Like, they miss games
Right.
purposely. So those streaks will never happen. So I guess my question is, do we ever see, the 15, the 16 title defenses, or even the 8 or 9 title defenses that, like you mentioned, those guys would? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if we ever see that again.
Takes the right fighter, takes the right
Well,
fighter.
maybe you.
Yeah,
Because you
absolutely.
take that stuff serious. I mean, we've talked about
100%.
legacy, like you want to be a champion and you want to be a unified champion. We've talked about it on prior shows, but I don't know, man. The way this sport is driven right now, especially if you're a big name, like for example, if you're Tio, you want to, go up and move up in weight and get a potential big money fight against a guy, in a
Right.
different weight class. I mean, we're seeing a lot of that stuff. We
Yeah.
call it attempting to be great as fans, but to me, it's unnecessary. Just handle your business at your own
Yeah.
weight class. There's plenty of big fights there, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, and you brought up some good fights. Like we were talking about Devin, the most obvious names. But you brought up Rayo,
Yeah.
and we weren't even talking about those guys, who are looming around. So, I
Right.
brought up Gary Antoine Russell, who actually beat Rayo. I think that would be a good fight. Him and Tio, I think at
Ooh.
140 would be a hell of a fight.
Tio's not taking that fight.
Well,
Tio's not
why?
taking
It's
that
my
fight.
point. That's a great. I
He
think that
don't
would
want
be
to
a
lose.
very entertaining fight.
He don't want to lose.
So you rather move up and fight a bigger guy in boots? Why? Because people are gonna say, "Well, if I lose, at least I dare to be great."
Exactly.
See,
Exactly, man.
that's the part. That's the problem
Any
that I have with boxing. That's the
Yeah.
problem that I have with boxing.
Yeah, for sure.
We got
I
my
think
man, call me MPO, which I call him Count Mempo. He said, out of 100%, what would you say boxing is mentally versus physically?
100 and 100.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody talks about 80-20. And yeah, I get that. But at the same time, like if your conditioning isn't on point, if you haven't been putting in the rounds, if you haven't been getting proper sparring, if your game plan isn't on point, you can be as mentally prepared as you want to be, and still come up short. And then the opposite way, you can be as physically prepared as possible, in the best shape of your life, and if you're not mentally there, obviously, that's going to be detrimental. So I would have to say 100 and 100, man. There's not one without the other. It's like lightning, right? You can't have lightning without the thunder, and you can't have thunder without lightning. They're equally yoked, right? You can't have one without the other. Either you have to be there physically, and you have to be 100% in there mentally. There's no like half and half, because if you're in there 100% mentally, you're going to be there 100% physically. You're going to make sure that you're running your mouth. You're going to make sure that you're eating right. You're going to make sure that you're doing everything you can to make sure you make the weight the right way. And so there is no like 90-10, because if you're only there 10% physically, you're going to get smacked. So I think it's definitely 100 and 100. There is no compromise there.
Great answer, brother. Chad wanted to say thank you for the time when he jumped on here, for answering his questions. Thank you to Stuntman. We got Stock Chasers.
I got
What's
one
going
more.
on?
I got one more in me.
Talk to me.
Oh no, I was saying I got.
Question. One more question.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more
Okay.
question. I'm gonna get out of here.
Toledo
I
Trees,
just got
man.
back from sparring.
No, I appreciate you giving me the time. Toledo Tree said, what are your thoughts on bare knuckle, and do you have a favorite brand of gloves?
Ooh, bare knuckle. I have a few buddies that do bare knuckle. I'm out here in Denver, Colorado. That's where I'm living and training. Living in the altitude, training in the altitude. It's a combat sports hub, and there's a lot of There's a lot of UFC guys. There's a lot of bare knuckle guys. I was actually sparring Kamaru Usman on Monday, so Monday
Nice.
yesterday. Yeah, so
How did that go? How did that
oh,
go? That's good work.
yeah, it was
I
smooth.
mean,
I spar him all the time, so
okay.
yeah. You know, it's two different sports. It's like rugby and football. You know, that's what I always tell people. So I get a lot of work with UFC guys like Justin Gaethje, uh, you know, Yusuf Zalal, you know, a lot of these UFC guys. Um, it's two different sports. You know, I always tell people that it's like tennis and cricket. You know, they're just two different sports. And then
Yeah.
what was the second part of that question? Oh,
Your favorite
favorite
brand of
gloves.
gloves?
Ooh, to train in, I like training in the rival. I can't. They have like the ergo lace. It crosses at the wrist. It really gives you like that wrist support. I like hitting the bags in those. And then in terms of like hitting mitts, I like the uh I like the Everlast gloves for hitting mitts in. And then sparring, I like to spar in winning. Winning tends to have a lot more cushion up here on the top of your knuckle. Helps you prevent getting like boxer knuckle. Um, Boxer knuckle is that feeling where it feels like your knuckle's broken, but it's not really broken. It's just like where you bruise that knuckle so many times, you know, that it starts irritating you every time you hit something. So the winning gloves definitely like help prevent that. And like if you hit somebody's elbows and things like that, it lessens the chance of you like breaking your hand. And then in terms of just like fight gloves, I like fighting in Everlast. For my last fight, I fought in Everlast, and I really enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna do that again.
Dope, man. Champ, appreciate you jumping on, man. More importantly, supporting the show, man.
Man,
You know you
absolutely,
family. You
Johnny.
welcome back anytime. Make sure you hit me up when that next fight gets announced, bro, so we could talk about it.
Man, I gotta text you after this, brother. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You working on something?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, if you want to come back on anytime, let me know.
Okay, bet 100%. Guys, hit that like button. Support the Hangout spot, man. I'll see you guys on the next show.
Appreciate you, bro. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, man. You never know who gonna jump on the hangout spot, bro. 5-0 prospect, 154-pound prospect is in the building. Ebenezer Stuntman Griffith, who was in the chat, and we were taking calls. I threw him the link, and he jumped on, man, to talk a little bit about what we were talking about after my interview with WBA Bantamweight champion Antonio Vargas. If you have not checked out, if you weren't here earlier to check out that interview, make sure you check it out after this show. It'll be right there at the Hangout spot on YouTube. While you're there, call somebody, be like, yo, check out this interview. More importantly, subscribe to my man. This is how we doing it up here in 2025 and beyond. There's power in numbers, man. We almost at our next goal, bro, of 2,000 subscribers. So please help me get there. It's free. If you haven't smashed that like button, do that as well. It's free if you're watching this live on Facebook. Throw me a like. More importantly, come on over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. This is how we do, man. We want the biggest and best interviews, man. We want the biggest and best interviews. That interview with Antonio Vargas earlier was amazing. We've had him on actually, this was the first time I had him on a live show. I interviewed him before I started doing live shows. So it wasn't on a live show, it was on a recorded interview, and I put it out on the channel. This was the first time I actually had him on a live show, and I thought it was absolutely amazing. He just got elevated to full champion in bantamweight, big things ahead. Shout out to Box Lab Promotions, my family as well, who promotes him. Amazing interview. So make sure you check it out. And then obviously I started taking callers. We started talking about this whole Boots thing because I'm not sure what the hell Boots is doing. Are you taking the T.O. fight? Are you not taking the T.O. fight? I mean, T.O. puts out a tweet that I can't find now, so maybe he took it out. That Boots no longer wants that fight. He might be moving up to 154. You know, Stuntman came on, said he's going to unify, try to go undisputed, stay at 147, which I'm fine with. Again, for selfish reasons. Y'all know Brian Norman Jr. is my dude. WBO welterweight champion. That's the fight that I want to see between him and Boots Ennis. Obviously, Brian Norman Jr. has to take care of business June 19th in Japan against top contender Jin Sasaki. I will be at Brian Norman Jr.'s training camp this weekend. That's right. We taking the hangout spot to ATL, baby.
Let's go, champ.
We might do a live show from the gym. We're going to be there Sunday more than likely. And there's not a lot of things popping on Sunday fight-wise, so y'all could just tune in. I'll let y'all know. Make sure y'all follow me on IG. That's where I update my stories. And on X Spaces. That's where I update my stories. That's why I put, photos, links to future shows, future guests. Everything is there. But more importantly, the easiest way to make sure you stay in tune to what's going on in the Hangout spot is make sure after you subscribe, you hit your notification because you never know when we're going live. Like I said, we're starting to do weekend shows. Last week, we did a Border Wars TBV edition where we had Tip Bayless and Lobo in the building. And they went at it, did a verbal spar to promote their big main event fight at Border Wars August 2nd in Wisconsin. That was dope. We're going to start doing more of those. In fact, we got 2 fighters in the chat that were here earlier, or that are still here probably, Vince Colbert and Wizzy. They're going to be fighting a rematch in Border Wars. So we're going to schedule a show where we got both of them on so they could do their whole, verbal sparring and promote their fight. We're going to start doing more of those in leading up to Border Wars because we got to promote Border Wars, man. Border Wars is where it's at. Shout out to the Boxing Voice. Shout out to Nestor Gibbs, who was actually in the chat earlier. And, to support. Ness always drops in, to show some love. Appreciate Ness. Appreciate the community. Stay Wavy TV. What up, Johnny? Appreciate you, my brother.
Let's go, champ.
Appreciate you rocking out here. We're late. We're late night. We're pushing almost 3 hours. But again, we had that interview. We did callers. We had Ebenezer Stuntman Griffith pop on. You never know who's going to pop up at the Hangout spot. People are watching. We got people out there that are watching us that love the show. They love the community. And, if they want to jump on, we'll throw them a link, man. We'll get them on here. We'll get y'all to ask some questions. This is how we do it up, man. This is how we do it up. But, yeah, man, it's been a great show. I was taking callers. This is the last call. If anybody wants to call in, talk about this boot situation, now's the time. If not, tomorrow we'll be back at it, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got another great guest. And we're going to keep it in the lower weight classes, bro. Tomorrow we got the flashy, the flamboyant, the exciting. Want to guess who? Scrappy Ramirez will be in the building tomorrow. Super flyweight title contender Scrappy Ramirez. John Scrappy Ramirez will be in the building. He's 14-1 with 9 knockouts. Obviously, he fights for Golden Boy Promotions. He's going to be in the building, bro. We got Scrappy Ramirez, man. He my guy. He's going to be in the building tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do a really, really good interview. We're going to talk about his flashy and flamboyant style. Ever since I seen him come out, he reminds me of a smaller version of Hector Macho Camacho. I love it. I love the flamboyance, the flashiness. I think that's necessary in the sport of boxing, bro. Let these guys show their personalities, bro. It's good to have those type of personalities. They are good for the sport. And he's one hell of a fighter in the lower weight classes. Today, we had Bantamweight champion. Now we got a super flyweight title contender in the building tomorrow. We showing love, man, because we ain't hardcore casuals here. We show love to all the fighters in different weight divisions. If you ain't watching the smaller weight divisions, you are hardcore casual, like my man, the Boxing Maniac, says. Shout out to you, my brother. So tomorrow we got Scrappy Ramirez in the building. Hopefully you guys are going to join us. I think it's going to be a great show. If you got questions or whatever, make sure you get those set up. I'm expecting a big crowd. So yeah, tomorrow we'll have him in the building, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Thursday, we're going right back at it, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, I'm doing a call-in show so that we could talk about this weekend's fights. Remember, we got fights this weekend. Amazon Prime. We got Caleb Plant. Main event. He's going to be fighting on the main event Saturday night for the Michelob Ultra Arena against Jose Rezendes, who's 15-2. Caleb Plant in the main event. Then you got Jamal Charlo, who's making his much anticipated return against my man Thomas Cornflake Lamana. That's going to be the co-main event. Yoanelli Hernandez, the Cuban sensation, who is 7-0, is going to be fighting against Kyron Davis. Kermel Moulton will be on the card. So that's going to be a great card. Again, PBC in conjunction with Amazon Prime is putting that together. That's Saturday, this Saturday, May 31st. We also got Darius Fulgram, who's going to be fighting Friday night in the main event on a DAZN card from Las Vegas as well against Bektamir Melakuziev. That's going to be a hell of a fight. So Thursday, what we'll do is we'll open up the phone lines and we'll have you guys call in and give your thoughts and predictions on what's going on this weekend. Boxing is going to start picking up now after this weekend. Then we got the weekend with Keyshawn Davis will be fighting Edwin De Los Santos. Abdullah Mason will be on that card as well. So we got hella boxing coming up. After that, after that, so now it's going to start to pick up. It's been a little bit dead the last couple of weeks. That's why we've been trying to do more interviews for the shows. But as it picks up, then we'll start doing some more call-in shows. And we'll get it popping. Shane, what's going on, my brother?
Let's go, champ. My man.
What's going on, man? Thanks for rocking out. Yeah, we did a long one today, man. I didn't get a chance to jump on with Marco, but when you got two guests that jump on, man, and we start taking calls and we get the community involved, this is how we doing it up. This is how we growing here at the Hangout spot. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all hit that like button on the way out. And if you're watching this on recording, hit that like button as well. It will help us get this channel out into other boxing fans' algorithm. They got to know we rock out weeknights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also doing weekend shows as well. We're only getting bigger and better. We're still boots to ground, working fights, getting live interviews. This weekend we'll be in training with Brian Norman Jr., so a lot of good things happening there. But, hey, man, let's call it a night, man. It was a great night, and I appreciate all of y'all for coming out. Shane, stay wavy. Vince, appreciate you. Toledo Trees. Call Mempo, my man, Stock Chasers. Chad, as always. Malcolm, man, you checked in. You were in the building as well, man. Z Pacino, all my people from the Boxing Voice of Nigerian Nightmare, Alberto, Clarence McLean from No Duck Zone Podcast made an appearance, man. Wreak Havoc was in the building. Oh, Wizzy was in the building, man. We had a lot of people, and if I left you out, Fight Sport Talk, you know the deal. Want to thank our guests as well, Antonio Vargas and Ebenezer Stuntman Griffith today. Dwayne Styles, everybody else for rocking out with us. But it's on to tomorrow, man. So as always, this is your boy Johnny signing out from the Hangout Spot Live, and I'll see everybody tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you are there. Peace.